end a road trip, and San Diego looks to move into a tie with Atlanta for the best record. Last night, a great comeback by both clubs. New York did it first, and then it was San Diego. Greg Vaughn, 2 home runs off Hideo Nomo. That one in the first inning was numbered 46. 2 innings later, a laser shot to left field off Nomo. 47 home runs for Greg Vaughn. San Diego won it. Joe Morgan, for both of these clubs, big game, and for San Diego, they've got their star Tony Gwynn back.
Well, it's very important to get Tony Gwynn back because the first half of the season, Greg Vaughn carried this ball club. He got a little tired. He had a little lull there. He's starting to swing the bat again, but everyone knows how consistent Tony Gwynn is. So if they can get his bat back in front of Greg Vaughn, they've got a better chance of catching the Braves and staying ahead of them.
New York Mets are in a grueling streak right now. Mike Piazza is red hot, though, really helping this ball club.
Well, this is the Mike Piazza they thought they were getting at the beginning of the season when they got him. First of all, when he got there, he was not hitting for power. He was hitting for average okay, but he wasn't driving in runs. He wasn't doing the job. But last night, take a look at this. He jumps on this high fastball, and he's really been hitting with a lot of power lately and driving in a lot of runs. No doubt about it, he is the key for this ball club.
New York Mets going after a wild card spot. San Diego's going after the #1 spot. Mike Piazza will be in behind the plate tonight to do the catching for the Mets. Andy Ashby will try for his 17th win, and John Olerud is chasing a batting title. While the man he faces, Ashby, is after a Cy Young.
Giving NFL Game Day 99 better graphics and game.
Quailcom Stadium. Alan Ashby is trying to, for his 4th time, trying to get his 17th win of the season. He's really been knocked around the last couple of times out. His last 2 times out, his earned run average is 18.21.
He has really been hurting in that regard.
Well, they still can't hear you, Harry, so I'll take over. Andy Ashby, as I mentioned, his last 2 times out, his earned run average is 18.21, which has raised his seasonal earned run average up to 3.09. He was at 2.52 before those last 2 starts.
Take a look at the Nextel lineup for the New York Mets. Tony Phillips will be leading it off. Edgardo Alfonzo at 3rd. John Olerud, as we said, chasing a batting title, and you see the numbers he's had against Ashby. 6 for 15 with 2 home runs. Piazza, McRae, Harris, Baerga, Ordonez, and Armando Reynoso rounding out the starting lineup for the New York Mets.
And there's Andy Ashby. Has a good fastball, good curveball, good change, and Dave Stewart has taught him the forkball. Some people call it a splitter, but Dave Stewart and the Oakland A's call it a forkball.
And tonight he'll go for victory 17, but it is the 4th time that he's tried to get there. Tony Phillips leads it off. First ball hitting to second base. Kelby O'Varis up with it over to first, where John Vanderwall is playing, and Tony Phillips is out of there, 1 down.
And that's the important pitch for Ashby. Good sinking fastball. He got it down. That was even out of the strike zone, and Phillips went for it.
Tony Phillips going after the pitch. San Diego Padres defensively.
And there you see Tony Gwynn back in right field, Gold Glove right fielder. He's no longer that quality anymore with the Achilles tendon problems and the knees. He's slowed down a little bit. And he told me he's probably going to play 5 or 6 innings, get to about 3 at-bats.
That's what he did last night, coming back for the first time in 18 games, and went 3 for 3 in the ball game last night, after having taken batting practice live once in the last 3.5 weeks. Tells you something about Tony Gwynn. Edgardo Alfonzo, and Ashby's pitch is outside. Joe, we should talk about Andy Ashby early on here because we're not sure how long we're going to have to talk about him.
Well, he's got a bad hip. He strained his hip. He's got tendonitis in his left hip. He fell on the last road trip, and they just don't know how long he's going to be able to go. They were trying to see how he would warm up. And if he didn't warm up well, they were probably going to put a replacement in. But he's taking the mound, and we'll just see how he reacts.
Tells you why the last 2 starts have been so troublesome for Bruce Bochy, the skipper of San Diego, and for Andy Ashby. Pitching with that bad hip, he's not been able to get the pitches down in the strike zone. They have been up, and he has been lit up as a result of that. He worked only 3 2/3 innings in each of his last 2 starts. Now, this is a guy who's won 16 games, so you know there's a problem. Alfonso fouls it off down the right field line. A 3-ball, 2-strike count on the third baseman of the Mets.
And he's only made one good pitch so far, Gary. That was the first pitch of the ball game to Phillips. That ball was down and sinking. The pitches he's thrown to Edgardo have been up in the middle of the plate. They're moving, but they're up a little bit. So he has not been able to get on top of the pitch, and that's caused by his tendonitis in his left hip.
Boy, that would be tough for San Diego and for Andy Ashby if that's a serious problem here that's going to require some time off. I mean, they have a month to go before the playoffs, but nevertheless, that's going to be a great concern to the San Diego Padres.
Well, there you see what he did in his last start, Gary. You mentioned only 3 2/3 innings, 8 runs,
9 hits, and only 3 strikeouts. Ashby's delivery to Alfonso, and he fights it off. Edgardo Alfonso playing a big part in the Mets drive. Third baseman has come on in the second half of the season and played very well for them. He's had 8 hits in his last 17 at-bats on this road trip. Edgardo Alfonso, 347 during the month of August just completed. And the man behind him, John Olerud, benefiting, of course, as well from a hot August. So there are some bats in this lineup that are going right now. Ashby with the 3-2 again, and that one to center field. Finley. And there are 2 down.
Well, Ashby gets him out, but not what he's trying to do. That's a fly ball. He'd like to get a lot of ground balls if he could with his sinker. That pitch was up, and it was more Alfonso missing it than Ashby getting him out on that pitch.
Came back on a 3-2 a couple of times to get the out. 2 down, nobody on, and that will bring up John Olerud. There's Dave Stewart, pitching coach of the San Diego Padres, who has done a very commendable job with this staff. I mean, they talk to the pitchers. They very much admire him and the work he's done for them as pitchers. John Olerud chasing the batting title, 342. Larry Walker had the best average starting today's play in the National League. Olerud, Walker, and Bichette have been up there at 1, 2, 3 virtually all season long, swapping places every once in a while. There you see the numbers. 2 of Colorado's hitters, Walker and Bichette there. And notice Tony Gwynn is back in the mix. Tony Gwynn is 5th right now. Pitch is taken down low, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
You know, Olerud is trying to become only the 2nd player in Major League history to win a batting title in each league. The other guy was Ed Delahanty. He did it in 1899 and 1902.
Strike on the outside corner, and died a mysterious death. Delahanty was found having fallen or have been pushed or jumped off a bridge, and it is a mystery never solved as to what was the cause of his death. 2-2 pitch, foul back. Thought John Olerud had a great comment. He was told that, Joe, the other day. He said, you know, if you win this title, you and Delahanty are going to be the only 2 to ever have done that. And John, who's very wry and quiet, said, boy, that would be great. I could be a household name just like Ed Delahanty.
I was surprised when I read that statistic that that Delahanty's the only one that's done that. I mean, you know, because a guy like Frank Robertson went over to the American League, almost won a Triple Crown, and so forth and so on. I mean, that's surprising. But didn't win a Triple Crown.
He was close. 1-1, I thought.
Yeah.
And the pitch is strike 3 called on the outside corner. So Ashby, despite the problem with the hip, comes on and retires the side in order. He gets the job done. Tony Gwynn will be coming to the first. We'll be leading it off. Steve Finley. Then Tony Gwynn batting 3rd tonight. Greg Vaughn with the 2 home runs last night. The cleanup batter. John Vanderwall gets the start at first base. George Arias will be at 3rd. Carlos Hernandez, Chris Gomez, and Andy Ashby. Gomez has got the 11-game hit streak, 419 during the streak. He had 3 doubles in the ball game last night for San Diego that they won 9-8 over the Mets. And ready to go to work, Armando Reynoso. And Kilby O'Veras takes the pitch inside for a ball. See the numbers for Reynoso. It's 5-1. This is his 7th start. He's been on a rehab much of the year for the Mets, as he had 2 separate operations, one on his elbow last year at the end of the season, and then another one on the rotator cuff. So he's just getting back for New York, having pitched only 40 innings now. Kilby O'Veras fights that one off, fisted that one foul, and the count's a ball and 2 strikes.
Gary, I was talking to some of the Padres players before the ball game, and they say that they think Reynoso makes up pitches out there on the mound with changes, grips, and just does a lot of different things. He doesn't stay in one pattern. His fastball he may throw 4 or 5 different types of fastballs during the game.
He does not have any kind of an overpowering pitch, Joe, so there's probably a lot of truth to that. He's also a screwball pitcher, and I'm referring to the pitch, not the makeup of the personality.
I knew what you were talking about.
He does throw a screwball to left-handers in particular. It makes him very tough. Cut fastball, slider, forkball. I mean, you're right. If he can get it in the strike zone, he'll throw it. Foul back, 2-2.
But Greg Vaughn had an answer to that. He said, well, when I played on the block, they made up pitches, and I hit them then, too. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup.
Confidence of a hitter.
Yeah, you're right. Well, he's got to have confidence after last night's show of beating up on Hideo Nomo.
I'll tell you, folks, tonight, if Vaughn and Piazza hit the ball as hard as they did last night, you're in for a show, even if they're outs. I don't think I've ever seen a ball. I know this year it's the hardest hit ball I've seen in any game by anybody. It was hit by Greg Vaughn, his second home run. It was an absolute laser to left field. It was out of here so fast. People weren't even sure where it went. The 2-2 delivery, foul back again by the leadoff batter, Kilvio Veras. Veras done a good job for them in the leadoff spot. Switch hitter, 293 right-handed, 265 left. He's picked up 22 stolen bases and 31 chances. He's provided some on-base percentage and some speed at the top of the order. Mondo Reynoso again with a 2-2 delivery. Taken down low, and it's full, 3-2. Reynoso has walked 22 in 39 innings, striking out 23. Not a good ratio for pitchers, but for Mondo Reynoso, it's about what it is. He's not going to have a lot of strikeouts, and because he throws so many pitches trying to move the ball around, he will walk a lot of hitters. He counts on hitters chasing a bad ball here and there in order for him to be successful. And that one to second, Carlos Baerga on the soft liner, and Veras is retired, one away. Lots of baseball going on today. Let's check in. John Buchabras. John?
Gary, we promised the end of the Red Sox-Mariner game, and oh, what an ending. Bases loaded. Nomar! 30th homer. Will this start the MVP talk for the Red Sox shortstop? Sox win 7-3. They stay 8 up on the Rangers in the wild card.
And Omar Garcia Perez having some kind of a year.
Unbelievable.
Mercy.
Unbelievable.
And Boston cruising along to the wild card spot. But even in the American League, much too early to tell who's going to end up playing whom in the first round. The Cleveland Indians could be overtaken by Anaheim, and as far as the record's concerned, Yankees are clearly going to finish #1, but the other 3 spots of the first round up for grabs.
I'll tell you one thing, the Anaheim Angels has showed people they have a lot of heart and that they're not afraid of anyone going into Yankee Stadium and playing the Yankees as they did. I think they've proven to themselves and to the league, hey, you're going to have to reckon with us.
They made a point. Finley had a home run in last night's game, 1 of 3 hit by the Padres. The Mets also at 3. Finley's had only 3 hits, though, in his last 25 at-bats. He generally will not be hitting in this spot in the order, but he's 11 for 31 against Mondo Reynoso in his career with 1 home run. So Finley with a real strong bat against Reynoso moved up. But he grounds this one to second base by Baerga again, and there are 2 down. And here comes Tony. Got a big hand last night after being out 18 games, and the crowd here tonight will do the same. 3 for 3 last night. Batting average now at .328 places him 5th in the league. 8 batting titles already to his credit, and he does have a shot in the final month of chasing yet another. 3,000 hits are not that far away anymore. He's got 2,905. Tony trying to become the 22nd major league player to reach that 3,000 hit mark. It looks like he'll get it. That one is a strike called at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the one, when talking to Tony, he said that it doesn't bother, his Achilles doesn't bother him at the plate. And the reason for that is he doesn't hit from a platform like everyone else. He's an upper body hitter.
Fly ball right center field. It is hit deep. McRae back looking up. Goodbye, home run. Tony Gwynn, 18 days out, is now 4 for 4 in his return, including a homer.
It's some kind of an off-speed pitch. As we said, Reynoso throws a lot of different types of pitches. But if you watch this swing, you watch he does it all with his upper body. And watch his waist up. He goes to the ball with his waist up. Look at that. He reaches out there, and that's where he drives the ball. You see his back foot almost off the ground. Because watch his back foot. See, he's not your normal type hitter. He doesn't swing the bat like McGuire or Sosa where he hits off his back foot. He actually is just an upper body hitter, hits it with his hands and his upper body, and that's why it's so difficult to fool him as well.
12 home runs on the year, and Tony Gwynn gives the San Diego Padres a 1-0 lead. Armando Reynoso just the second home run off him in 7 starts. The first one by the left-hander. Greg Vaughn. How can you be Greg Vaughn and not be being talked about in this Major League Baseball season with 47 home runs and 110 RBIs, and he's lost in the shuffle. 2 home runs last night, but of course he is third behind McGuire and Sosa in their chase.
And speaking of third, that's where they said they would be. Caminetti and Gwynn both told me that we'd be 3rd or 4th in this division if it wasn't for Greg Vaughn. He carried them by himself almost the first half of the season. That's why it's so important to get Tony Gwynn back, because you can't expect one guy to do it for the entire season.
And he takes the pitch outside, and Armando Reynoso walks it. So the 2-out homer by Gwynn. Now the walk to Vaughn will bring up Vanderwall. And Reynoso will have Bobby Valentine pacing early. Mets are 4-4 on this current road trip. They have not won a West Coast road trip since 1994. And it's obviously a huge game for them in the wild card race, with the Giants and Cubs having won their games today. John Vanderwall up, gets the start. He's had 1 appearance as a Padre as a pinch hitter since coming to the ball club a couple of games ago. This is one of the game's premier pinch hitters over the last 3 seasons. He set a Major League record for pinch hits with 28 in '95. Also led the big leagues in pinch hits in '94. When he had 14, he came over from the Colorado Rockies on Monday for a player to be named later, and here he is starting at first base.
And that was quite a pickup for the Padres, I believe. He's a good hitter, as you mentioned, great pinch hitter, and he can fill in for a lot of spots. He can fill in for Gwynn and right, and also for Joyner at first base.
And Wally Joyner's had his health problems of late, keeping him out of the lineup. Fastball misses inside of Vanderwall. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joyner not in the lineup tonight. Vanderwall 0 for 4 in his career against Armando Reynoso. It's his first start at first base as a Padre, 7th player they've had in that position so far this year. Mark Sweeney, another pinch hitter, had come off the bench while Joyner was out. Played a lot of games over the last 3 weeks. 1-1. Vanderwall takes Reynoso's fastball down low, 2-1.
Well, because he doesn't have one big pitch, as you mentioned, he can't put a hitter away. You're going to see him even get ahead in the count. He might get 2 strikes on a hitter, and they're going to foul off a lot of pitches because he doesn't have a good enough pitch just to put him away after he gets ahead in the count.
And Tony Gwynn got one of those good enough pitches and drove it. He was 400 feet away on his home run. 423
feet. That's what it says at travel.
So the ball
pales in comparison to McGuire's.
Well, everything's McGuire-esque now.
Yeah, you're right.
When we talk about home runs.
Yeah, he hits at 500. Tony hits at 423.
2-1 count. And Vanderwall fouls it off. Noticeably here on the West Coast of late, there's a hurricane on the West Coast that's driven very humid weather in. And here in L.A. and San Diego, humidity's been very high, and as a result, the balls have been flying out of the yards in Los Angeles and San Diego in particular here over the last 2 weeks. And the home runs last night weren't just out of here. They were towering shots. And you don't usually see the ball carry that well here in Southern California, where the air tends to be a lot drier.
Especially in Los Angeles.
2-2 delivery, and up high to him, and again Reynoso goes 3-2 on the batter.
Well, he also has some smog knocking it down.
So it holds it in. So Armando Reynoso already has thrown 24 pitches, third 3-ball count he's had, and not unusual. This is the way he pitches. Armando Reynoso throws a lot of pitches, trying to get guys to chase balls. Vaughn at first, 2 down. Olerud goes behind him. Runner goes 3-2, and another walk. So 2 are on with 2 down. Reynoso's walked 2 in a row. Sunday Night Football. The Oakland Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs. An AFC West battle. Raiders have a new coach. John Grundon is named. Cornerback Charles Woodson, new player. And on Monday Night Football, the season premiere on ABC, as New England will take on Denver. Drew Bledsoe, John Elway, all coming your way Sunday night and Monday night. ESPN Sunday, ABC Monday. It's that time of year. George Arias. Hockey season can't be far away.
Please.
2 down, 2 on. Vaughn at second base and Vaughn at first.
Still baseball season.
That's right.
The height of the baseball season.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Do not disagree.
All right. Good.
2 walks. 1 to Vaughn. 1 to Vanderwall. Set the tables here for George Arias with 2 down. Run in on Tony Gwynn's homer. And Baerga moves in at second base. Mets do a lot of infield maneuvering. There are a lot of set plays. Bobby Valentine set up in spring training for the Mets. They will keep runners alert, and if they're not, they'll be in trouble. They'll sneak guys in behind runners at every base, move the infield in and out. Valentine likes to use a lot of defensive maneuvering out there. Arias hit 300 in the month of August, but only had 10 at-bats, 3 for 10, getting the start here in this ball game. Takes the pitch outside, and it's a 2-0 count.
Even Reynoso's not going to be able to pitch from behind every hitter.
2-0 count.
With that more balls than strikes, that will always get you in trouble.
He's fallen behind the hitters here. Arias waiting. Fouls that one off Piazza. A 2-ball, 1-strike count. Arias making the start at third base with Ken Caminiti out of there. Caminiti's been in a big-time slump here over the last week. 0 for his last 16. So Caminiti getting a break in tonight's game, and Arias getting the start at third.
It's interesting. He had gone 9 for 18 on the road trip, swinging the bat really well, and then he came home and he's gone 0 for 16. That's unusual.
Yep. And Bruce Bochy feeling maybe it's just a wear down time and give him a night off and has a chance to catch his breath, and he'll be back. 2-ball, 1-strike count. 2 on Reynoso. Piazza setting up outside. That one high in the air to right field. Annie Harris back under it, puts it away, and that will do it. But Tony Gwynn delivered a home run, 12th of the year. San Diego up, Piazza coming up. Houston beating Atlanta in the first half of it. Tony Gwynn picking up his 12th home run of the season. Tony Gwynn, 431 plate appearances now. He needs 71 more to qualify for the batting title. Joe, we were talking about that before the game. He may not make it.
He'll make it. Especially if he gets, especially if he catches Walker and the other hitters.
Bruce Bochy does not want to aggravate that Achilles tendon problem he's got, so he wants to kind of pull him in and out. But Tony said last night, I'll go to Bruce here in a couple of days and say, you know, I really ought to play every game to get ready for the postseason.
Not only that, how many times do you get a chance to, you know, win another batting title? I mean,
even if it is your name.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can throw it in the other corner of the room or something.
Piazza on the Ashby delivery is quickly down 0-2. What a road trip Mike Piazza's had for the New York Mets. He went back to Los Angeles playing against the Dodgers, ended up going 8 for 13 in that series. He's hitting .560 in the 8 games on the road and has picked up 11 RBIs with 4 home runs included. Stinging the ball.
Yeah, well, he was not hitting for much power the first part of the his stay in New York, and I think that's one of the reasons he got on the fans' bad side. They thought he was going to hit more home runs. Now he's driving the ball again.
Where's he going to end up, Joe? The contract discussions won't start with the Mets till the end of the year.
Well, I think he's actually in a tough situation in that I don't know if there are a lot of people that can match what the Dodgers offered, if that's the important thing. I mean, if what the papers reported was true, 7 years, $86 million or something like that, I don't think he's going to get a 7-year deal from someplace else because he's a catcher that has a history of bad knees. I mean, unless he goes to the American League.
2 ball, 2 strike count.
But I know one thing, he can hit.
He can hit. He has really proven that of late. Second highest average over the last 10 days of anyone in the National League. 2-2 delivery by Ashby, reached for that one. Tony Gwynn in right field started back, now comes in. Has plenty of time to get under. And Piazza's retired, 1 away.
The problem you have if you're Ashby and you get Piazza out on a pitch like that and you try it later in the ball game, you may see that ball sail over the right field wall. Piazza makes adjustments as well as anyone, you know, in the game. I mean, I've watched him over the last few years. I mean, he really adjusts to what they do to him early in the ball game. So let's file that one in our mind. That was a slider away, and he just kind of reached for it.
And he hits a lot of those sliders away out of the ballpark the other way.
The other way.
Brian McRae. McRae, center fielder, has also had a magnificent second half of the year. He did not hit very much before the All-Star break. The second half of the season, McRae has come out with the guns a-blazing. 11 hits in his last 30 at-bats for Brian McRae.
20 home runs on the season. That's, you know, you never think of him having that type of power. He was a leadoff hitter for Chicago when he was there for a couple of years, but now they've moved. He actually moved down, was hitting 4th for a while. He's hit all over in the power slots lately.
Hitting the leadoff spot for a while before they finally got Tony Phillips to hit there. 1-1 count. Ashby's pitch to him, grounded towards first base. Sandoval plays it to the bag and gets a little help with Ashby over. And there are 2 down.
Ashby started the last hitter, Olerud, in the first inning. He started getting the ball down. He made some good pitches to Olerud and was able to retire him. And since that time, he's actually made some good pitches. It seems like maybe he's gotten a little more loose since he's, you know, taken the mound, and and he's been able to keep the ball down.
If he gets the ground balls, that'll be a sign. That hip not bothering him as much maybe in this start. Breaking ball is in there for a strike to Lenny Harris.
And down. That's the important thing for Ashby, is make sure you keep the ball down. They may get some line drive singles or ground ball singles, but if you get the ball up, they're going to hit it out of the ballpark.
And Harris deep to right field, way back. This game is tied at 1. Lenny Harris delivers the dinger. Just what we were talking about, and the New York Mets, with their first hit, have their first run.
Well, he made a good pitch with the curveball and got it down. Then he comes back with a fastball, and watch, this ball doesn't sink. He's been throwing a sinker last couple of hitters, but this ball doesn't sink, and Lenny Harris puts a charge into it. Now watch this pitch. Watch how straight this pitch stays. Look at that. See, it does not sink at all. Just watch the. He knows. See, he says, get it down. He knows he didn't finish it off. Yeah, he didn't finish it off. He says, I didn't get it down. I have to get the ball down.
18 home runs off him this year, and 8 of them have now been hit by left-handers. Lenny Harris gets one. That is his 5th of the year. That's the problem Ashby has been battling here of late. Long ball. Carlos Baerga. 1 strike count on him right off the end of the bat. Gomez is up with it. Makes the play in time, and that'll do it. But this one is tied up. Andy Ashby, home runs off him. 15 solo shots now. Lenny Harris, the last one.
Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by 10-10-3-2-1. New number, same great savings.
Well, the home runs just keep on flying, and the Mets and Padres 1-1 as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Bottom third of the order for San Diego. Hernandez, Gomez, and Ashby due up against Amanda Reynoso. Carlos Hernandez 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. Makes that pitch up high for a ball. fine job for them behind the plate, throwing out base stealers 22% of the time. Not high, but it's there. Decent average. At a position where they were wondering just who was going to be their catcher. Right through the middle. Mondo Reynoso leaning back to get away from that one, and Hernandez is on with a leadoff single. To get your attention.
It's amazing if you watch, though, when a pitcher gets the ball up in this day and age, and I say that more than any other time, you will see some balls hit hard. If they get the ball down, they're able to get the hitters out. And a lot of that has to do with the way the hitters approach hitting. They all have real thin handle bats, and they're all really kind of letting it go. So the pitches that they handle best are the balls in the middle of the plate and up, because you get the ball down and they drop the barrel head, bat head, and hit a lot of pop-ups.
Reynoso will go back to work here after that one zipped by. Chris Gomez, their hottest hitter right now. He's got an 11-game hit streak going, raising his average up to 264 after a lot of fans have been calling for the Padres to get rid of Gomez because he wasn't hitting a lick. 419 is batting average during the hit streak, and it is the longest the Padres have had this year. 11 games. Kind of amazing with a team with 90 wins. Greg Vaughn did it twice. Steve Finley has had an 11-game hit streak once before. And now an opportunity for Gomez to have a 12-game hit streak and have the longest of the Padres season. This franchise is off to the best start they've ever had this year. Only a couple of wins away from posting the most wins in a season that they've ever had. That's how good this Padre ball club has been this year. 15 games up in their division. 1-1 delivery, and towards second. Carlos Baerga, Ray Ordonez, and they turn two. So the pitcher's favorite friend. 2 down, nobody on with Ashby coming up. Mark McGwire, 2 more home runs. Sammy Sosa 1. McGuire's got 59. Sosa's got 56. And Labor Day baseball will feature both of them, the Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals, Monday on Labor Day at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. 2 more today, 2 last night.
I mean, they make it look easy. I used to think hitting home runs was hard, but they make it look easy.
It is amazing. Also want to remind you the Braves and Mets will be playing a game that will be carried on ESPN2 in addition to being the regional game on Monday. So lots of baseball. Swung on and missed by Ashby. 2 down, nobody on. 8 hits and 65 at bats for Ashby.
You know, maybe if I leave right after this game, I can get to St. Louis in time to see that game.
You better hurry.
Yeah, I'm going to drive.
Oh, you're going to drive?
Yeah, if I drive.
You'll be all right.
I'll get a chance to see McGwire and Sosa.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they can hold on. Hold him under, hold him at least to 60 till I get there.
Yeah. I don't think so, though.
Oh, you don't think so? No. Hey, he's had 4 home runs in his last 5 at bats. That's
4
amazing.
4 home runs and 5 at bats.
Yeah. So
I hope you got a fast car. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Ashby.
Well, see, they're off tomorrow, so they give me
well, I guess your day.
Give me a little shot.
You're right. Maybe you do have a chance. Armando Reynoso, a Cirque du Soleil play, and that will retire the side. No runs, a base hit, and nobody left on. 2 home runs. Having a breakthrough season, 16-6. But the innings pitched more than ever. Dave Stewart, pitching coach. Does it matter?
I would think he's been one of the league leaders in fewest amount of pitches per 9 innings this year. Probably Maddox being the best. I think I saw a statistic he's second to Maddox, and so not so much innings, but keeping a close eye on his pitches.
Yeah, well, that's the way to do it. I mean, it's a number of pitches, not so much innings that you pitch. And if he can keep his pitch count down, well, you're in good shape.
He does that. 2 of the best in Ashby and Maddox. Question here, how will that hip hold up for him here tonight? Dave Stewart, pitching coach, who has really driven these pitchers to throw a lot of innings and throw strikes.
I think that's the big difference, as you said, in this ball club. I mean, Tony Gwynn has not had a Tony Gwynn-like year. Ken Caminetti has not. Steve Finley. The only one that's doing great is Greg Vaughn. Yet the pitching has carried this ball club, and you have to give Dave Stewart a lot of credit for working with these guys. And they all give him a lot of credit. I mean, he's been especially tough on Joey Hamilton, I might add. I've done a few ball games that Hamilton's pitched, and man, Dave Stewart's kind of like a real tough love.
Ashby working to Ray Ordonez. There's Joey Hamilton. That tough love has led him to a 12-11 mark so far in the season with a 4.45 ERA. It's interesting talking to Dave Stewart as we were before the game, Joe, about how he approaches this thing. Everybody's different in that regard. And he goes after them differently. He says, you know, a guy like Kevin Brown, I don't have to say anything to Kevin Brown about anything.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, that's the way you have to look at it. Some guys you need to pat him on the back. Some guys you need a kick in the rear, you know, and he obviously thinks you have to keep pushing Joey Hamilton. And like he says, Kevin Brown, he only needs to say, nice job, big fella.
Yep, go out and do it again.
Yeah.
2-1 delivery to Ray Ordonez, and the pitch is outside. A 3-1 count of the Mets shortstop to be followed by the pitcher Reynoso, and then Tony Phillips at the top of the order.
Rick Sutcliffe told me an interesting story about Dave Stewart working with Ashby in spring training.
And he walked.
He said in spring training, Dave Stewart taught Ashby the fork ball, or the splitter. They call it the fork ball in Oakland. That's where Dave Stewart was from. But in a game, he took his curve ball and his changeup away, and so I only want you to throw fastballs and fork balls. And he had so much confidence in his fastball that game, he used it a lot more than he did the fork ball. He only threw like 6 fork balls, and he thought Dave was trying to prove to him that he could, you know, use the fork ball, but Dave was trying to prove to him that he could get by with his fastball. Then his fastball was a lot better than he thought when he concentrated on keeping it down, and he thinks that's been the key to his fast start and his successful season so far.
Confidence in the fastball. Reynoso up to bunt, lays one down.
Foul ball.
Foul ball. They'll bring it back. Reynoso has not had a lot of chances at the plate here in light of the fact it's only the 7th start that he has made this year. He does not have a sacrifice yet. He is a good hitting pitcher, 3 for 18 on the year, and in his career he's always been a guy who'll pick up more than his share of hits as a pitcher.
Gary, it's kind of hard sometimes to make pitchers have confidence in their fastball when night after night they look at Sports Center and they see guys turning on fastballs, hitting them out of the ballpark. But the fastball is still the pitch. You just have to make better pitches with it, location-wise. You just have to learn to keep the ball down and move the ball in and out.
That's what Ashby has done to put those numbers up. Reynoso again, and that pitch is taken outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the things I've noticed in the last couple of years that pitchers do differently than they did before. When another pitcher's in the batter's box and you know he's bunting, a lot of times in the past they would throw the high fastball because that's the toughest pitch to bunt and you get a pop-up. Now you don't see that as much. You see him throwing sliders, as Ashby did there, or even a sinker, not the high fastball.
Arias already way in at third, and Reynoso takes the pitch outside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And it's always easier to get on top of the sinker or, you know, something down. The high fastball, you get your bat under it and you get a lot of pop-ups. But most of the pitchers do not subscribe to that theory anymore.
Yep. And you can see a couple of sliders here. Pitches have been thrown by Ashby. And Reynoso's not gone outside to bite on it. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Bobby Valentine going to work a run out here with a runner at first. Leadoff man on Ordonez, bunted, foul, and Reynoso unable to get that one down. Well, Armando Reynoso will check with Cookie Rojas again down at third for the signs here with a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Bobby Valentine, boy, the pacing. It is September, folks. When baseball comes to September, a lot of things change, including the amount of pacing done by managers who are still somewhere around a playoff spot.
Well, Bobby's on the hot, put himself on the hot seat, so to speak. He said they would win a playoff spot. So he has put a little pressure on himself and the team.
2-2 delivery. Reynoso swinging away. Arias cuts it down. Second one. Relay to first off the mark. Van de Waal will chase it down. There will not be an extra base picked up here. Ordonez taken out. Arias, Kilvio Veras at second base. No chance for the relay. And that's not what the Mets were after with that at-bat.
Nice play. Now watch, see how tight Arias is in. He's right in there. Now ball's hit hard. He dives. He gets it. Now this is the important thing. He gets up and makes sure that he gets one. Tough, hard slide there in the second base. Also put a little pressure on Veras, and he wasn't able to make the double play, but they got the lead runner, and that's what they wanted.
That's what you don't want if you're the Mets, of course. Lead runner's gone, and your pitcher now has got to run the bases for a moment. Tony Phillips, the leadoff batter, grounded out his first time up. Phillips has had a phenomenal string here of walks. The Mets did not have a leadoff batter until very late in the season, when they finally were able to pick up Tony Phillips and sign him. Phillips now playing in his 33rd game for the Mets. On base percentage of .357. He has drawn 25 walks in the 32 games played. Grounds it. Stop! Vanderwall on the bag gets the out.
Man.
Wow.
But you know what? That's what can happen for you if you get the ball on the ground. If you keep the ball down and make the hitters hit the ball on the ground, your defense can help you. As we saw Lenny Harris hit one, they can't help you if you get that fastball up and they hit it into the seats. I mean, this is an excellent stop here at first base. As you see, Vanderwall dives, he tags the bag with the ball in his hand, and he looks at second, but no chance. But again, they get an out. That's what you want.
John Vanderwall starting at first base. First start there for him. First start anywhere as a Padre. And the only reason he gets to that is because he was holding the base runner on. Armando Reynoso coming off the bag, then had a dive back to the line. Reynoso goes to second, 2 down. And Edgardo Alfonso takes the breaking ball for a strike. He flied out his first time up. Well, Andy Ashby still a task in front of him here with 2 down in this 1-1 ball game, because Alfonso hits .331 with runners in scoring position. He and John Olerud are the 2 best clutch hitters for the New York Mets. Alfonso leans into the pitch. It's on the outside corner. 0-2. Mark Wegner is the home plate umpire tonight. Wegner's a call-up umpire for part of the vacationing crew. Joe West, Jeff Kellogg, and Kerwin Danley, the other umpires in this one. Wegner's got the plate. Last night, Danley had a very wide strike zone both ways. Wegner looks like that strike zone's got some pretty good width on it here in this one. 0-2 delivery outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Alfonso.
Now that's a very good 0-2 pitch. It starts close to the strike zone and breaks out. A lot of times you'll get a hitter to chase that pitch, but then that's what you want with an 0-2 pitch.
Edgardo Alfonso trying to get Reynoso in from second. Remember, Reynoso not a good base runner, not fast. Won't matter if that's out of here. Deep left field. Vaughn back at the wall, looking up. Reynoso, take your time. A 2-run homer by Edgardo Alfonso with 2 down. And the Mets go on top 3-1.
And do I have to tell you where that pitch was? It was up. They tried to come inside. They got the ball up, and it was left out over the plate a little bit. You'd made 2 good pitches away. If you're going to come inside, you come inside bad. But he comes inside for a strike. And watch where this pitch is. See, watch him move inside. Look at this. Fastball up, and it gets the plate. And that's, you know, that's what we've talked about. You get that fastball up, and they're going to drive it out. He got the sinkers down, and his infielders were able to help him out. They can't help you out in the seats.
15 home runs for Edgardo Alfonso, and Alfonso now has 70 runs batted in. And the Mets now have 2 home runs in this ball game off Ashby. 1 by Lenny Harris, 1 by Alfonso. It continues red hot. And the New York Mets not used the long ball much this year. Now have had 14 home runs in their last 9 games, and at least 1 in each of those 9. Olerud hitting .342, takes the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. I suppose the question now with Ashby, Joe, is it the hip that's bothering him and not allowing him to get these pitches down, or is he just missing?
Well, I think he was missing on that one because he had thrown Edgardo some pretty good pitches.
Center field, Finley over. He's got it. Olerud's retired, so he gets the out, but 2 runs in on just 1 hit, nobody left on. The Mets on top 3-1, ties. And that streak he's on right now. Lenny Harris, the other home run to give the Mets the 3-1 lead.
Well, Edgardo was really hot in L.A. in the 9th inning a couple of times. I mean, he swing the bat well. You just cannot make mistakes on a guy when you swing the bat as well as he is, and also Lenny Harris.
Gilby O'Barris, top of the order for the Padres. Finley and then Tony Gwynn due up. Alfonso moves in at third base. Barris will drop one if given a chance. And a strike on the outside corner. A couple of RBIs picked up in the ball game yesterday. After all the home runs, 6 of them in that ball game last night. The game-winning RBI is when Gilby O'Barris draws a bases-loaded walk. That was the deciding run in the ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Up for grabs here, San Diego Padres, if they can win it, would tie Atlanta for the best record in the National League. The New York Mets need a win here to stay 1 behind the Cubs in the wild card race. The Cubs won today, so did the Giants. And it certainly looks as though all of these questions regarding the playoffs are probably going to end up going right down to the bitter end of this baseball season. Finish first, you play the wild card team unless the wild card team is in your division, in which case you play the number 3 team. He got him that time on the call. Gilby O'Barris out of there. Tony Gwynn is due up this inning, coming back in with that left Achilles tendon that's bothering him. Joe Morgan talked with him.
Number 12, hitting wise is fine. My problem is pushing out of the box, pushing to go to the next base, you know, planning to go left or right. That's where I have my problems with it. And because I haven't been out there in a while, they're going to play it cautious. You know, I'll probably get 2-3 ABs a game here for a week and hopefully gradually work into being out there all the time. But right now they want to be real careful, and this is the part of the game I really hate. I really like being out there, and the fact that I'm not going to be able to be out there for 9 innings is going to be tough. But at this point, I'm just happy to be back in the lineup.
On deck, Tony Gwynn.
And is he back? We'd say 4 straight base hits, including a home run his first time up tonight. 3 for 3 last night.
Finley takes the pitch for a strike, 1-1. Finley now 3 for his last 26. His average dipped down to 243. It has been a disappointing offensive year for Finley. But he has continued to play Gold Glove type center field for this ball club.
Well, his first at bat, in my opinion, was an example of why he's struggling a little bit. He just rolled the top hand over and pulled the ball that was away from him. He used to drive that ball in the right center or left center field, and that was a fastball, and he just rolled his hands over, hit a ground ball at second base.
279 career hitter down to 243 gives you some idea of just how tough this season has been for him offensively.
And a lot of it, I think, he had a lot of home runs the last couple of years. And also, I think this is the final year of his contract, so he wants to, you know, put up big numbers, and sometimes you try too hard.
95 strikeouts as well. Fouls that one off Piazza. And the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Finley.
Well, that swing there was an example of what I was talking about. He just opened up and just let it all go. And Steve Finley, you know, from a couple of years ago, was a guy that just stayed in there and hit the ball hard. He drove the ball, but with his hands and his legs combined, not just opening his hips and swinging hard.
And Reynoso walks him. 3rd walk given up by Armando Reynoso. This one comes with 1 down here in the 3rd inning. That'll drive Bobby Valentine crazy. Club gets a lead, 3-1, and the very next inning, pitcher walks the man ahead of Tony Gwynn.
Well, I explained why he could hit in the Achilles tendon wouldn't bother him because he's an upper body hitter, but that doesn't explain how you can sit out for 18 days and then come back and just, you know, hit line drive after line drive and so forth. So he just tells you how great a hitter he really is.
Just amazing. 300 plus for 16 consecutive years for Tony Gwynn. Runner at first, a home run his first time up, and he takes the pitch inside for a ball. Tony Gwynn has never finished lower than 6th in batting average in the league in his entire career.
You mentioned the fact that he's going to get his 3,000th hit next year. And we may have 3 guys get 3,000 hits next year. Wade Boggs and Cal Ripken Jr. all may get 3,000 hits next year.
Only 21 others have done it so far. Gwynn takes the fastball from Reynoso for a strike, 1-1. Armando Reynoso against Tony Gwynn. Gwynn is 6 for 14 against Reynoso, with that home run he picked up being the first he has had off the Mets right-hander. Gwynn has been a Met killer. Of course, that can be said for a lot of clubs. He's a .358 career hitter against New York.
Well, he's the only guy that handles Greg Maddux on a consistent basis as well.
I was just shocked last night talking with him when he said he'd taken one live batting practice. Everything else had been little flip tosses off the machine in the cage. In 18 days, one live batting practice. This one a chopper to first base. Olerud. Only play is to go to the bag. You'll get Gwynn. Finley goes down to second base. 2 down. So Gwynn out of there, 2 away, and it'll set the stage for Greg Vaughn.
Number 23, Greg Vaughn.
Mets on top 3-1, knowing one swing of the bat by this guy can change all of that. Vaughn drew a walk his first time up, one of the 3 given up by Armando Reynoso. He had a 3 for 5, 2 home runs in the ball game last night. And in his 3rd at bat last night, he just missed having his 3rd home run. He hit a towering deep fly ball down the left field line that went foul into the upper deck. 2 down, runner at second base. And the sliders outside, ball 1 to Greg Vaughn. Defensive shift put on by the Mets. See, Baerga moved way over towards second base, not around on the other side, but behind the bag. That'll also hold Finley a little closer to second base. 1-0 count on Vaughn. And a strike on the outside corner. You've seen more than one hitter on pitches in the outside part of the plate turn towards the home plate umpire. For both teams.
Talked about Vaughn being hot the first half and carrying this ball club before the All-Star break. Said he got a little tired there, his legs, and he just physically felt a little tired, and he was trying to make up for it by moving quicker, and he speeded everything up and he got in trouble.
Protecting the outside part of the plate, goes off the end of the bat that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's been able to regroup and slow his body down. That was his problem he felt he's had the last couple of years. He was rushing his body. Then he got in the groove this year where he was slowing everything down. And he stayed that way until he got a little tired, but he says he's been able to regroup and pick it up.
A huge offensive year. 3rd in homers, 7th in RBIs, 6th in runs scored for Vaughn. 1-2 count on him. Reynoso's pitch foul back. One he wanted right there. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes.
And I was thinking the other day about the MVP race, and I said, you know, I thought Sammy Sosa had a leg up on everyone at that point last Sunday, but things could change. And I mean, how quickly things can change. I mean, you got a Greg Vaughn, you got Moises Alou, you got Martin McGuire. I mean, this is just an unbelievable situation. And you got Craig Biggio, who's not going to hit 40 home runs like everyone else, but he's still just, you know, he isn't as valuable as anyone to his team.
Yep. 1-2 the count. That vote for the MVP is going to be really tough, especially with McGuire. Right. I mean, how many is he going to hit?
Right.
He's clearly going to break Maris's mark, barring an injury or something. I mean, he's going to do it. Sosa's going to do it, but McGuire's got a shot at putting up numbers that may be there for a few lifetimes.
But the question would be, is he the most valuable player, or is he the player of the year?
Yeah.
That's a tough question, you know. And also, I didn't mention Andres Galarraga and Chipper Jones, I mean, and Javi Lopez. I mean, you've got a lot of guys in this league this year that could easily be the most valuable player in the league.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Vaughn with a runner on at second base, 2 down. Reynoso, the long look, will step on. Players, in fact, are voting right now. There is an award voted on by players for the player of the year. And the New York Mets, in fact, the representatives of the Players Union were in there today handing out the ballots.
It's a Major League Baseball Players' Choice Award,
Yeah.
which ESPN will host October 30th at Disney World.
You're not going to be there, right?
I was part of the ceremonies there last year, and I really enjoyed it. You had a lot of all the great players there, and it was great.
3 ball, 2 strike count on Vaughn.
Actually, after I leave St. Louis on Monday, I may start driving.
Drive down there.
Drive down there. Start for Orlando.
You're just an American vacationing fool, aren't you? You're the reason gas prices are up. I knew there's somebody out there because of that. Now I know it's you. 3-2 count, 2 down. Finley on second base. Mets up by 2. The 3-2 swung on and missed. So Reynoso gets his second strikeout. Base runner left on at second base. Mets continue up by 2. It's on top here, 3-1. Piazza will lead it off for the Mets.
And his first at bat, Ashby got him out with a slider away, and watch this swing. He bails and just kind of reaches out and hits a fly ball to right field.
This time the breaking ball's in for a strike.
And the one thing that he has always been able to do is make adjustments to how you get him out, and that's the reason he can hit for such a high average. You're not going to get him out the same way on a consistent basis.
318 batting average right now. Pitches down low to him. He has faced Andy Ashby more than any other Met in the lineup. Piazza's 8 for 35 against the now San Diego right-hander. 1-1 delivery to him. Towering fly ball right field. It is deep. Back is Gwynn. Goodbye home run. Mike Piazza continues to tear it up on the road for the Mets, who now have a 4-1 lead and 3 home runs off Andy Ashby.
And all the pitches have been up. This one was away. He was trying to go away again, and he did not get it far enough away, and it's up. Now watch where the pitch is. Up above the belt, and you see what Mike Piazza does with it. You just cannot pitch him one way consistently. He actually likes the ball out away from him more than he does any other spot.
He liked that one. And the Mets now 4 runs on 3 hits off Andy Ashby. All 3 of the Mets hits have been home runs. And McRae, who grounded out his first time up, takes it down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Piazza is sizzling right now. He's picked up 15 hits in his last 27 at-bats over the last 9 games.
Well, maybe someone will give him 7 years, 80+ million.
Keep sitting like this.
Yeah, if he keeps it up.
A lot of people think that may be the Anaheim Angels. He wants to come back to the West Coast. 1-2. Kind of unlikely the Dodgers are going to do anything again with him, but Anaheim, I'd very much like to pick him up, bring that name back into the lineup. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Ashby, that one towards short and right through the wickets on Gomez.
You could see he wasn't going to get down in time on that ball.
So another base runner on, nobody out. Baseball elsewhere. John, what you got for us?
Well, Gary, just in case some people missed it out there, Mark McGwire's evening. Top of the 7th, number 58. He did that last year. Fox did it in 32. Greenberg in 38. And then McGwire, number 59. Babe Ruth had 59 in 1921. Big Mac 3 away from the record. Doesn't play tomorrow. The Reds come into town over the weekend.
John, thanks. And the all-time home run mark in professional baseball, Mark McGwire's even got a shot at that.
72.
72 home runs. Joe Bauman, who played in Roswell, New Mexico in 1954. It was the Longhorn League that he played in. He hit 72 homers in 138 games.
138?
138 games.
A lot of big flies.
It's a lot of dry air.
Yeah.
In the Longhorn League.
Man. The thing about McGwire, though, I mean, if you watch those 2 pitches there, one was just a perfect pitch down out of the strike zone. He hit it out. The other one was down. He hit it out. I mean, everyone else usually hits a pitcher's mistakes, as we've seen him hit Ashby's 3 mistakes here tonight. McGwire doesn't have to be a mistake. I mean, he can hit anything and hit it out of the ballpark. You make a great pitch, he can still hit it out.
1-1 delivery. That line to left by Lenny Harris. It'll be hauled in by Greg Vaughn. And McRae will go back to first base. One down, runner on at first with a run in here, and a reminder, you will see both Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, same game, Labor Day baseball, Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern time, the Cubs and the Cardinals. And on ESPN2, Braves and Mets at 1:30. That'll be the backup game going to Chicago and St. Louis, and it'll also be the game nationally on ESPN2. 4-1 lead for the Mets here. And there's just the wonderful part about this time of season, it seems to me, for a fan, is that there's so much to talk about and watch every day. And it changes on a daily basis. Of course, the home run race being number 1. The American League West race with Anaheim and Texas. The wild card spot for the National League with the Mets, Giants, and Cubs. Broken bat by Erga. The New York Mets, we talked about, they're facing Atlanta in a 4-game series coming up, starting at Shea Stadium here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They face Atlanta 7 times. The last 3 games of the season will be in Atlanta. Bobby Cox. They face Atlanta 7 times. The last 3 games of the season will be in Atlanta. Bobby Cox has no love lost for his fellow manager, Bobby Valentine. The Braves do not want the Mets to be the wild card team, because if they are, they're in the same division as Atlanta. And Atlanta probably would then have to play Houston. Nobody wants Houston in the first round. So the Braves will play those 7 games against the Mets like the World Series. Chopper towards second base. Silvio Veras goes to first. Meyer is out of there. 2 down to second base, McRae. Take a look at the pitching matchups for the series coming up in New York. Glavine and Leiter, big seasons. Millwood, the great 5th starter, against Bobby Jones of the Mets. John Smoltz has come on very strong against Rick Reed, who's won 16 games. Talk about an unheard of story. Rick Reed's one of them. Then Denny Nagel and Yoshi will go on Monday. That's the pitching matchup.
Well, we talk about the fact that no one wants to play the Astros and the Braves do not want to play the Astros. I tell you what, I wouldn't be anxious to play the Braves either. After looking at that lineup they can throw against you, the pitching, and you didn't even have Greg Maddux on that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what, I still think it's going to go through Atlanta. The road to the World Series is still going through Atlanta from the National League. I just believe that.
Ray Ordonez up. Interesting this year, Joe. Of course, the wild card situation in the American League is also going to hold true, because the New York Yankees will finish first with the best record in the American League, and the Red Sox are going to be the wild card team, so they can't play. So New York's got to play either Cleveland or Texas or Anaheim in the first round, because they can't play the Red Sox. It makes it very interesting, and as we said, the answers to who will play whom in the first round is going to take probably the rest of this month to sort out.
Then the one thing to remember now, on any series like that, anyone could win. So it's going to be, I think these are going to be the most exciting playoffs that we've ever had. I really believe that.
I agree. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Just inside on Ray Ordonez, and the count goes to 2-1.
And the reason I believe that, Gary, is because I think the teams that are going to be in there are the best teams we've had in the playoffs. You know, the Braves in the past have always been a big favorite in the National League. Now you have the Astros and here are the Padres that are, just as good. So it's going to be in the wild card. Whoever gets in there is always going to have a chance of winning.
2-1, Ray Ordonez to left field. Vaughn moves in, plenty of time, puts it away, and that'll do it. But the Mets add another. The home run by Piazza has given them the 4-1 lead.
Having your car stolen can be a real blow. You work hard for these things. That's why Farmers Insurance is all about getting things back to the way they once were. From the way policies are written to the way claims are handled, everything we do is about getting you back behind the wheel. It's what we think auto insurance should be about. Let's face it, if somebody really wants your car, they're going to get it. But with Farmers, we can at least help get you back where you belong.
6 yards of hunter green, 2 yards of gold, stick pins, heavy-duty thread, and some of those iron transfers.
This morning, strange things are happening all over the world. Shops are about to open empty. Parts suppliers are partless, and assembly workers have nothing to assemble. Is this any way to run a business? With FedEx it is. Every morning the world gets just what it wants, just when it needs it, without expensive warehousing. Gone today, here again tomorrow. Now that's the way the world works.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Come on! Down! Didn't get an AC Delco battery? They last up to 30% longer.
Barry!
AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Guaranteed to get you on TV. No fools there.
Yeah.
Great to have you with us, Gary Thorne, Joe Morgan. And the Mets have the 4-1 lead. Armando Reynoso's walked 3, struck out 2, but only one run on a couple of hits off him. John Vanderwall leads it off against the Mets right-hander, Arias and Hernandez to follow. And the left-hander takes a pitch up high. While Armando Reynoso may be a right-handed pitcher, being a left-handed hitter does not necessarily give you much of an advantage against him. Left-handers are hitting .209 off Reynoso this year because of that screwball he throws. Olerud. And that'll take care of Vanderwall. 1 down here in the 4th inning. Want to remind you, coming up Sunday night, Oakland Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs, an AFC West battle. The National Football League gets underway. Sunday night, start time 8:15 Eastern. And then, of course, Monday Night Football will be coming your way. New England and Denver, that's on ABC, and that's on Monday. Sunday night, ESPN. Monday night, ABC.
Hey, Gary, it's the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders. Not, the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah, not
the Raiders.
It's not the Raiders. The Raiders.
What team you cheering for now?
The Raiders.
Oh, you are
I'm a Raider fan.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in Oakland.
Well, I knew you did, but I thought maybe you picked up from
I
San
got
Francisco.
smart or something?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Never mind. I won't. Thought you might want to win it.
I'll be...
Oh, 1 count, 1 down.
I'll be glued to my seat watching the Raiders.
You will. You'll be eating those fish tacos. Line drive knocked down by Armando Reynoso. Speaking of the Bulls, did you see him dribble that?
Well, what happens is if you don't throw hard, you're usually in pretty good fielding position. They don't fall off to one side. Watch his fielding position. See, look at that. He stays right there on the mound. A hard throw would have fallen off toward first base, and that would have been a base hit. So a control pitcher usually stays there pretty well. Watch his finishing position. He's right there, stays on the center of the mound, and he's able to react. Hard throwers always fall off to the side because they're putting a little extra into it.
Hernandez, a 2 down and nobody on. Carlos Hernandez picked up a single but was doubled off. And Armando Reynoso, who pitched really well in his first 5 starts. It's this one fouled off. And camera, well, no play. Also pitching well again here tonight for the Mets. Mets are in a 6-man starting rotation now, because they've had so many games. They had 3 doubleheaders in 1 week. They've played now 19 games in 16 days without a day off. They were 6-4 in the homestand with 3 doubleheaders, then flew to the West Coast. They're 4-4 in the 8 games they've played out here so far. And they'll go home tonight and arrive home about 8:30 tomorrow morning and get a day off before Atlanta moves in.
That works. Day off.
Day off. 1 ball, 1 strike count. 2 down, nobody on. Hernandez inside to him, 2-1.
Gary, a lot of teams are complaining because their day off normally they use to travel, but you can get a day off at home. It really does give you a chance to recuperate and get back to where you want to be.
And these clubs need it at this time of the season, as this schedule travel-wise has been wicked. Towering fly ball to left field. Hernandez really got under that one. Tony Phillips puts it away, and Armando Reynoso has retired the side in order. New York Mets on top. They've had 3 home runs. Edgardo Alfonzo, a 2-run shot, and he'll be coming up here in San Diego. To their advantage here in this one. And the pitch to Armando Reynoso, who hit into a fielder's choice his first time up, is taken for a ball. Top of the order, Phillips and Alfonzo due up for the Mets. Reynoso takes the strike, 1-1. Mets will have 14 games on the road and 9 at home, including this one. That's what the remainder of their schedule will look like. Mets have probably the toughest schedule going down the wire here of the 3 wildcard teams, Giants and Cubs. They played 12 of their games against first-place teams. That's a lot.
Yeah,
7 against Atlanta, 4 against Houston, and this one tonight against San Diego.
I think the Giants supposedly have the more favorable schedule because they're going to be at home more as well.
Giants play only 3 games against the first-place team, San Diego. Cubs have got 7 against first-place teams. I think sometimes at the end of the season, Joe, you get clubs like San Diego, Atlanta, whatever, who have won so many games, they've locked up their division, that they start playing the call-up guys and rest some of the regulars. That's not going to happen. That one hit hard and fair down the left field line. Armando Reynoso is on his way to second base. And he has a lead-off double against Ashby. Boy, did he stun that one. Elsewhere, John.
Gary in L.A. Mark Rudzelanek going down to left. Here comes Roger Cedeno. And Carlos Perez is pitching a shutout. Dodgers lead 3-0, 2 outs in the 5th. They're still batting.
Dodgers a month ago looked as though they might make a run at a spot postseason, but not anymore. And showing bunt, Tony Phillips. Armando Reynoso with a double on at second base as the Mets have their 4th hit off Andy Ashby. And now leadoff batter Tony Phillips trying to move him up.
That's a good smart play there by Tony. Make sure you know, with a pitcher running, drag the ball to the right side, make sure he gets over.
Phillips has 1 sacrifice bunt so far. Arias in at third base. Not bunting this time. Tony Gwynn in right, coming in. Reynoso goes back to second base. Phillips is retired, 1 away. And Phillips is 0 for 3 in the ball game.
Well, he tried to pull the ball. Ashby got the ball away from him out on the end of the bat, and he wasn't able to hit it far enough for Reynoso to move up.
Brian Boehringer in the bullpen for the San Diego Padres. As the Padres don't want to fall any further behind here, and while Ashby's given up only 4 hits, those home runs have been belted. And Edgardo Alfonzo has 1 of them. Alfonzo, 15 home runs on the year now, 70 runs batted in. He got his 2-run homer in the 3rd inning, 1 for 2 in the ball game. 9 hits in his last 19 at-bats. And the fastball is at the knees on the outside corner for a strike. Alfonzo is now 6 for 17 with 2 home runs lifetime off Ashby. He has raised his average to 284. Ashby a look back. Reynoso not going anywhere. Outside to him. 1 ball, 1 strike. The reason we were saying these teams that have played so well, like Atlanta, San Diego, won't be resting regulars is because they've got something on the line now in securing home field advantage for the playoffs. So they battle for that. So these first-place teams aren't going to be laying down for anyone here in the last couple weeks of the season. Inside-out swing. Tony Gwynn in right field is under it. He's got it. Reynoso won't tag. He'll stay at second. Alfonzo, the second out of the inning. 2 fly balls to right field. 2 down. Reynoso remains on at second base with his 2nd career double. You take a look at our in-game box score. You see the home runs: Alfonzo, Piazza, and Harris. And Mike Piazza, 7 home runs now in his last 13 games, 28 on the season. There is Mike Piazza waiting on deck. John Olerud, league's leading hitter up there now at 341, 0 for 2 today. Olerud came out of the ball game early last night. He went 0 for 3 in last night's game and had a 9-game hit streak ended. So not a big lead at second, and Olerud a strike on the outside corner.
Just to finish up what you were talking about the new playoff format, I like the tweaking and the adjustments they have made to the playoff races by giving the home field advantage to the team in each league with the best record. I think that's great.
I agree. The one thing I would change on it, I would allow the wild card team to play against the #1 club, even if it was the same division.
I would also. I guess the only problem with that would be if the Mets and the Braves finish the season playing each other.
Yeah.
Last day of the season, then one of them gets in, and then they'd have to start a series. That would be the only drawback. But I personally think that that's the way it should be anyway.
There's the way it would be if it started today. Cubs and Braves, Astros and Padres in the best of 5, of course, which is a whole other problem. 1-2 to John Olerud. Strike 3 call on the inside corner. Ashby's got 2 strikeouts, and both of them against John Olerud. Mets on top, 4-1.
Hello, Mr. Coors.
Excuse me. We drove off and left our beer. And you've been guarding it for us? Right?
There's only one Mile High taste. Coors, the original.
Finder's fee?
Flight 57 now boarding.
We're finished. The interesting thing is those last 2 starts we talked about, his earned run average 18.21. He got 2 no decisions, and the Padres won both of those ball games, so they have been able to come back for him.
Concerned by Andy Ashby and by the Padres. As we told you, a hip bothering him. The last 3 starts in particular. Tonight, hard to tell.
Well, I think he was okay, but when something is bothering you physically, it creeps in and, destroys your concentration every once in a while, because you're thinking about that every once in a while rather than exactly where you want to make the pitch. And I think that's what happened to him. He made a lot of good pitches. He just made some poor ones.
You don't want a pitcher to be overcompensating and then hurt something else.
Right.
So
Great Dizzy Dean did that, I guess, when he had a broken toe and ruined his arm when he was pitching with it.
Kept right on going, didn't let it heal. Ended a career. Fouled off by Chris Gomez, trying to continue his hit streak at 11 right now. Hit into a double play his first time up. Ashby would be due up second. And Myers has already come out in the on-deck circle and will be pinch hitting here for Ashby. Greg Myers. Mondo Reynoso's given up just 2 hits in the game, walking 3, striking out 2. Gomez swings through the fastball and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Well, one thing about Reynoso, he throws so many off-speed pitches and from so many different angles and so many different movements on the ball that when he throws the fastball, the 4-seamer, he's got pretty good giddy-up on it.
It sure looks fast,
right,
compared to what else he's throwing, right?
That's what a pitcher's supposed to do, set him up and blow him away.
2-ball 2-strike count.
So he's pitched pretty well, 70 pitches in 4 innings.
He's used to throwing well over 100 in his starts.
Well, he's on pace for 140, so
he'll be up there. Here's the 2-2 line drive over by Erga's head, and Gomez has the longest hitting streak of any Padre this year. 12-game hit streak for him, and a leadoff single here in the 5th inning.
Well, good job by Gomez, and that's why he has a 12-game hitting streak. Pitches moving away from him. He's going the other way with it. Hits a line drive. Look at that. I mean, that's good hitting there. You can see that he kept his head right there on the ball. Going the other way. Gets a base hit.
Well, both of these ball clubs have been outstanding comeback teams all year long. The lead is never safe against either of these 2 clubs. Greg Myers now on as the pinch hitter. Myers 4 for 14 as a pinch hitter. 245 overall, 3 homers, and 18 RBIs. Had only 147 at bats. And Myers takes the pitch down low from Reynoso. So Ashby is out of the ball game. Ashby having worked the 5 innings, giving up 4 runs on 4 hits. He walked 1, struck out 2, and gave up 3 home runs. Now giving up 20 home runs on the season. Andy Ashby has. Myers, a grounder to second by Ergen. Ordonez 360 and still got him. Ordonez had the double clutch on the turn and still got Myers at first base.
Well, I don't know exactly what happened there. I'm just watching like you were, but I don't know exactly what happened. It did not seem like it was a bad throw from Baerga. Let's take another look at it. Baerga actually backs up on the ball. That makes it a little more difficult. Now he gives it to him. Well, he didn't have to do that. That's just his way of making the double play. That's what I thought. I didn't think he had to do that. See, he didn't have to do that. But, hey, that's him. He's got a flair to his game.
2 down. That's the first time I've seen him do that this year.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he did it for me.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he knows you're here. And the way you pivoted at second base, turning 2, he wanted to just try and show you.
But I've never seen that, you know, unless you get a bad throw. But that was not a bad throw. But he got the job done. That's all that's important.
2 double plays turned by the Mets in this ball game behind Reynoso. 2 down, nobody on. Kilvio Barris is lined out and struck out.
Hey, Ozzie Smith had a little flair to his game, too.
Yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And entertaining.
Entertaining. You're right.
And he's got that in him. He's got a little bit of that hot dog that runs pretty deep there at short.
Yeah, that was entertaining.
Bell ringer will be coming in. He's been warmed up in the bullpen since the last inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. He could face a loss, Andy Ashby. The Padres do not come back to at least tie the ball game right here, and they've got 2 down, nobody on. Reynoso missed with that one up high. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Switch hitter batting at .272 on the season. Mondo Reynoso with the 2-1 delivery to him, fouled straight back. Told you the San Diego Padres, best record this franchise has ever had, 90-49 at this point in the season. They've only got to win a couple more games to reach the all-time high in wins, which is 92. They also have got a chance with another win to equal the high in wins here at home. They and Atlanta, 2 best home records. Check swing back to Armando Reynoso. That's what Joe was talking about. He keeps hitters off stride. You get those kinds of swings when guys just aren't quite sure what they're going to see. Mets on top 4-1. Piazza coming up when we return.
Attention, citizens. If you plan to be on the road seeking fun and recreation this summer, here's an important tip. Nothing beats 1-800-COLLECT for staying in touch. It's easy to use and costs 10 cents a minute every evening. And as Mr. Chaz McFeely here learned, failure to use 1-800-COLLECT can get you in trouble. So there you have it. Dial 1-800-COLLECT. It's easy, it can save a bundle, and you'll keep our furry friends happy. 1-800-COLLECT. 10 cents a minute every evening.
Finally, a polished brass finish that holds up under siege. New brilliance for the kitchen. From Delta, it's guaranteed to shine for life. Delta, the faucet.
What's she got in mind for me now? Ow! Whoa! Take it easy there. Yes, if a stain is going to come off this paint, keep scrubbing, lady. Keep scrubbing.
Only your Sherwin-Williams store has a truly washable flat latex. Sherwin-Williams EverClean.
Now that's smooth, baby. Yeah.
When only the best will do. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Who's gonna break Maris's mark and hit 62 out of the park? The race is on. Keep your eyes on the ball. McGuire. Sosa. Griffin. They've got their eyes on the ball. Baseball history is in the making. Who's gonna crush 62 before the season is through? It could happen at a ballpark near you. Don't miss a home run. Don't miss a minute. Keep pace with the race. Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com.
The Yankees trying to become the fastest American League team to 100 wins. They have 99, but they're down 2-0 in the 8th. That's Ryan Christensen with the home run. Yankees do have the tying run at the plate right now.
New York Yankees, the #1 record in Major League Baseball and maybe for all time as they go after that 1906 Cub mark, 116 wins.
I hope the A's don't think that 2-0 is safe.
No, I'm sure they don't. 1-0 count on Mike Piazza. Piazza delivered his home run, the 28th, leading off the 4th inning. And Bollringer misses down low. So Andy Ashby out of the ball game and Brian Bollringer out of the bullpen. What has been a very effective bullpen. Ashby will stay on the bench. 5 innings worked, 4 earned runs, 4 hits, 3 homers, and a double. All extra base hits off Ashby by the Mets. He walked 1, struck out 2.
In this day and age, Gary, if your team is successful, you have a good bullpen. I mean, you have to have good people come out of the bullpen, or you're not going to be successful because you do not have nearly as many pitchers finishing ball games or even pitching into the 9th inning as you had before. So your bullpen is very, very important, and all the good teams have good bullpens.
And that misses inside, and Piazza gets the walk. So Brian Bollringer surrenders a leadoff walk to Piazza here in the 6th inning. And Brian McRae to be followed by Lenny Harris. Bruce Bochy's ball club down 4-1. And the Mets will try and tack on now, getting the leadoff man on here in the 6th inning. Or McRae in the ball game's reached on an error and is grounded out. Bollringer. Fastballs down low. Bollringer's made 6 straight scoreless appearances, 9 in the 3rd innings without giving up a run for Brian Bollringer. Right-hander, they will not hold Piazza at first. Vanderwall will play behind the Mets base runner. And it's taken down low again. 2 balls and no strikes on McRae. Now, the bullpen last night for San Diego did not have a particularly good night, as the New York Mets had picked up on Maselli, Myers, Wall. They got 5 runs off Dan Maselli last night out of the bullpen before San Diego came back to win it. Green light on that one. 2 ball 1 strike count on McRae. .274 for McRae on the year. Piazza off first base with Vanderwall moving in a bit behind him. Bollringer's pitch misses down low, and it's a 3 ball 1 strike count.
Well, Bollringer's doing the right thing. He's trying to keep the ball down to get the ground ball, but he's just getting it a little bit too low, and McRae is not going out of the strike zone.
And McRae will get a hitter's pitch here. 3-1. Fouled it back. Full count. San Diego Padres bullpen also helped out by Dave Stewart, their pitching coach. Throw strikes. Don't be afraid of it. Myers, Maselli, Donnie Wall, Bollringer, and of course their stop man Trevor Hoffman have been just outstanding. 3-2 runner goes. Ball 4. So Brian Bollringer comes on and watch the first 2 batters faced here in the 6th inning. 2 on and nobody out for the Mets, and that will bring Dave Stewart out.
Yeah, and Dave is saying, I think I told you to throw strikes when you came in here. Let's see this conversation. I think he's really just trying to give him a breather here because he was throwing a good sinker. He was just sinking it too low out of the strike zone to McRae. And I think he's going to tell him, hey, you have to start it a little higher. but I think he wants to get him out of the rut that he's in of throwing balls. A lot of times when a pitching coach comes out, that's all they're doing. They're just trying to give you a little chance to back off and start over again, because you can get in a rut of throwing pitches low, low, low out of the strike zone. And a lot of times you just break that rhythm and give the guy a chance to start over.
Well, let's see if Dave Stewart able to get that done here. Bullringer this year, left-handers 287 off him, right-handers 265. 1 home run by left-handers, 6 by right-handers. He faces Lenny Harris, who tried to lay a bunt down to third. I think more for a base hit than a sacrifice there.
I certainly hope so, but I don't think so, Gary. Look at him. He's still looking down there.
Oof.
You've hit a home run. You're ahead 4-1. You would think that you'd try to break the game open here, you know. But it looks like Bobby is trying to get one more run here.
Trying to stay out of the double play situation.
When you're on the road, I think, you know, and you're already up, I think you have to try to break it open, especially when you have a hitter like Lenny Harris up there, who's hit a home run, has been swinging the bat well for you.
5 home runs for him on the season. 8 hits in his last 27 at bats. Checking again at third base. Bobby Valentine has already made the decision, relayed it out to Cookie Rojas at third.
One thing, Gary, if you walk him, if you bunt him over, they walk Baerga. Now you have Ordonez hitting. It was a double play situation.
Yep.
But then again, maybe you're going to bunt him over, walk him, and then squeeze.
He's done that.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe he's that far ahead.
He has done that this year. Bobby Valentine will use the squeeze play, especially with Ordonez. 1-1 pitch. Lenny Harris to second base. Veras, Gomez. That's what Valentine was trying to stay away from.
Yeah, but I still think you take a risk to bust the game open rather than, you know, trying to play for 1 run here and there, because now you still have a runner at third base.
Well, he didn't get the bunt down the first time. Double play, runner at third.
And this is the pitcher's best friend. He hits a ground ball at second base. But the point is, you give yourself a chance to break the game open. And I guess it's that risk versus reward.
That's why you manage. Those are the decisions you make right there.
Exactly, because the risk versus the reward. I think the risk of breaking the game open is what, the reward of breaking the game open is worth the risk of a double play in that situation. You already have a 4-1 lead. If you're tied, I think you go ahead and bunt.
Carlos Baerga. 1 ball, 1 strike. Saw the numbers he has against Bullringer. Good. 3 for 6 with a homer. He's got Piazza on at third base. Mets have a 4-1 lead. Top of the 6th inning. Baerga has grounded out twice in this ball game. Baerga has struggled of late. Grounded towards second. Kilvio Veras over. Kept the glove down. Makes the play. So despite 2 leadoff walks here, Bullringer giving up 2 to start the inning. He gets out of it with no damage done. Finley, Gwynn, and Vaughn. When we come back, Mets lead by 3.
At Uniroyal, in order to make a point about our new nail guard tires, we added a few to our test track. Nail guard tires, designed to seal 90% of tread punctures, instantly and permanently. Only from Uniroyal.
The division, no question they are going to do that. Just a matter of when. Gwynn back up. 1 for 2 in this ball game. Down to first base again. John Olerud. And Tony Gwynn is retired on 1 pitch. So 2 away here in the 6th inning.
I hate to say this, but it looks like Reynoso maybe smells the goal line. It looks like he can see, you know, at least the 5-yard line and turn it over to Franco or something.
He is really, he's really in control of this ball game.
Yes.
Mondo Reynoso, but for the injuries, has been an outstanding starter in his career. But the injuries have really waylaid his efforts. He's only 43 and 36 lifetime. He got blown out by San Francisco in his last start, worked only 4 2/3 innings. But prior to that, he had come on to win games against Chicago, LA, Colorado, Arizona, and a 1-0 combined shutout against St. Louis.
Well, when I saw him pitch, for Colorado a couple of years ago, I thought he was, I was impressed. Not impressed with that pitch right there, though. That's the one he struck Vaughn out with last time up. It was out of the strike zone, and Vaughn went after it. But, man, you better not throw too many changeups right there.
Vaughn, one of the 2 strikeout victims Reynoso has had in the ball game. Greg Vaughn, a walk and a strikeout, holding at 47 home runs. Incredibly, part of all of this home run season, there are going to be 3 National Leaguers who are going to hit more than 50 home runs. Vaughn will be one of them, but this is not going to get him there. John Olerud in foul territory puts it away in a 1-2-3 inning here in the 6th. Ramando Reynoso protecting that Met 4-1 lead.
These films playing on DirecTV. Tommy Lee Jones and Wesley Snipes are fighting for justice from opposite sides of the law.
I got set up from the word go.
What do you intend to do?
Catch him.
U.S. Marshals. When they needed help, he delivered.
You have a gift, Postman. You've given us all back what we've forgotten.
Kevin Costner is the Postman. He's a knight who will stop at nothing to save the day.
Any rules? Who dies first? Who's this?
Prince Valiant. This guy always answers the bell.
I've lived in silence with your face for 14 years.
Daniel Day-Lewis gives a knockout performance in The Boxer. When trouble comes flooding in, Christian Slater rises to the challenge.
Good or bad?
Hard Rain. Don't miss these heroes of the fall this month on DirecTV.
It's ESPN Sunday Night Football, ladies and gents. We kick things off with the Raiders and the Chiefs. ESPN Sunday Night Football. Coverage begins at 8:15.
Oh, see, I would watch that.
Take a look at our Wagner game summary. 4-4-0 for New York. San Diego 1-3-0. Armando Reynoso a chance to win this one. 3 homers for the Mets. Ashby started, gave up 3 home runs. Magic number still 9 for the Padres. Ryan Bollringer on for his 2nd inning of relief work. You want to cover this for a minute? I got to put my address down for you so you can send me your book. Baseball for Dummies. I don't know what that means. Base hit into center field by Ray Ordonez. So the Mets shortstop on with a leadoff single off Bollringer here in the 7th inning.
I was a little offended because you said that's why I wrote it.
Well, that's why you want to send it to me. You said.
No. It's really for people who love baseball, but I mean, you know, when you do, I know that. That's why I'm sending you one. In fact, I'm going to send you 2.
You are?
Yeah.
Will you autograph at least one?
Both.
Man. I'm having a yard sale next week. Armando Reynoso, runner at first, looking for bunt. He squares, and Bollringer will make the flip over to first base. Wall stayed back to cover first. Sacrifice credited to Reynoso.
And Reynoso's doing everything tonight. I mean, he's hit the ball hard. He was robbed of a base hit in the 3rd inning on the nice diving stop there at 3rd base, and then he doubled, and now he sacrifices the guy along. So he's doing a good job.
Scored a run.
Yeah.
When he reached on the fielder's choice the 3rd inning. So Reynoso will head back, and a runner in scoring position for the leadoff batter, Tony Phillips. Bollringer trying to keep this a 4-1 game and give the Padres a chance here in the late innings to come back. Phillips 0 for 3 lifetime against Brian Bollringer. One of the most unusual stances and most difficult strike zones in baseball.
And he's got a big hitch, and you know they tell you can't hit with a hitch, but you can hit with a hitch as long as you do it soon enough and get yourself back in the hitting position. You can drop the bat, you can do anything you want as long as you do it before the pitch gets there. And watch Tony. I mean, he will drop the bat, the big hitch, and everybody tells you do not drop the bat because you can't get it back up. Well, you can drop it if you can get it back up.
Been able to do that. Runner at 2nd base. Bollringer trying to hold him close. Phillips takes a strike on the outside corner.
I think Mark had to decide about that one. Wagner, that is. He was undecided about whether it was a strike or not. But Frank Robinson had a big hitch, and he was one of the greatest hitters who ever played this game. But he always did it in plenty of time so that he got the bat back up in time to hit.
Tony Phillips has not always used this stance. I asked Tony about that earlier this year. Why this stance? He said one reason: draw walks.
Yeah.
He said, all I'm trying to do is reduce the strike zone.
Well, Tony Phillips is a guy that has always been able to score runs. I mean, when he was with the Angels, they scored tons of runs. He left, they didn't score as many. Every place he's gone, he has scored a lot of runs. I mean, that's his job because he knows how to get on base.
There's that hitch. And the pitchers take it inside. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Phillips. 1 down. With a runner on at second base.
I don't recommend you have a hitch like that, but I'm just saying that you can have a hitch and still get the bat back up in time as long as you do it soon enough.
Ryan Bollringer keeping an eye at second base on Ray Ordonez. Gomez moved in behind him. That pitch misses, and the count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is what Phillips does. He takes a lot of pitches. He's up there more than willing to take a walk if he can get it. Alfonso has had a home run tonight on deck. Bollringer trying to get the second out right here. 2-2, foul back. Phillips holds the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Tony was one of my teammates my final year in Oakland, but he always understood, you know, what his role was. He wasn't an everyday player then, but he was learning, and he always understood when he got in there he was supposed to get on base.
He'll do it any way he can, including scooching down even further in that stance when he's ahead on the count.
That's his emergency stance there with 2 strikes. A lot of guys have those, though.
Yeah, that's right.
They just don't get that deep into that crouch, but you have an emergency stance that I have to put this ball in play.
Phillips, of course, came over late in the season to the Mets, only his 33rd game. He has 9 RBIs. Got a chance for 1 right here with Ray Ordonez at second base. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And a fly ball right field deep. Going back, 364 at the wall. Gwynn, and he runs it down. Ordonez tags up. He'll move over to third base. Tony Phillips out of there, 2 away, and a long run for Tony Gwynn.
And Frank Robinson also told me one day that's when you throw a little guy an off-speed pitch like that, he can't drive it out of the ballpark. He hit that ball well, but he just didn't get it out. If that was a fastball, he would have hit it out. Now watch this. It's an off-speed pitch, and Tony has to supply all the power, and he's just not strong enough to drive it out of here on an off-speed pitch.
So he's the out, but the runner moves up, and Bollringer will face Edgardo Alfonso. 283 hitter, 15th home run, came in the 3rd inning, a 2-run shot at the point, gave the Mets a 3-1 lead. They've added another, and Piazza's homer is 28th after Lenny Harris had his 5th in the 2nd. All of those coming off starter Andy Ashby. 1-0 count, 2 down here, and Alfonso takes it down low, 2-0.
I think you want to take too many chances and walking Edgardo and having to pitch to Olerud too many times. He's due now. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game.
Fastball taken for a strike on the outside corner, 2-1 to Alfonso.
Well, they went right after him, and I think the reason for that is because Olerud is the next hitter. Ordonez, the runner at third base. There's Olerud on deck. And down low with that one. Oh, he falls behind on Edgardo Alfonso. 3 balls and 1 strike. And Alfonso is one of those, you've got a good hitter, and Alfonso is. You do not want to give him a hitter's pitch. Well, I think he should be ready because he's going to get that fastball that he got 2-0. Oh, he threw him a breaking ball. Fooled him. 3-2. Fooled me too. That's the idea. That was a ball, but he still fooled him. Watch this pitch. It's way up and out of the strike zone, and he goes up after it, but that's a hanger, and you can hammer a hanger if you get to it. Oh, the count full, 3-2 and 2 away. Ordonez started the inning off with a single. He's at third. Alfonso check swing, strike 3 called on the outside corner. Good job by Bollringer. No runs, a base hit, a base runner left on. 7th inning stretch time from San Diego.
This young man is about to save a life. would you know what to do? If you arrive first, have someone go for help.
Don't move. Hey, guys, call for help.
Then, to reduce the risk of fire, turn off the car's engine. Don't take chances if a car is burning.
136-year-old secret.
Degrees at game time here at San Diego on a warm, rather humid summer night. And the New York Mets have a 4-1 lead, 7th inning stretch over. And Armando Reynoso back to work. John Vander Wal at the plate. Vander Wal 0 for 1 and a walk. Arias and then Hernandez due up. San Diego running out of time here in this ball game as Reynoso continues to dominate these hitters. San Diego's left only 3 on base in this game, and they've only had a couple of those in scoring position. They've not had a base runner left on since the 3rd inning. A couple of double plays have helped Armando Reynoso, giving up a home run and 2 singles. That's it to win the home run. Comes back with that fastball, and there's that sneaky fastball Joe was talking about.
And it's amazing, he threw him a slider, a cut fastball in, and then he had that fastball running away from him.
1 ball, 2 strike count on John Vander Wal. Reynoso has faced only 1 over the minimum number of batters since the start of the 2nd inning, 16. The double plays, of course, have helped that. Also the fact that he's only given up the 3 walks in the game, and he got those out of the way early.
But he induced the double play, so
yeah,
you're right. He's done the job.
2-2 delivery. Vander Wal to second base. Carlos Baerga. Leadoff man is retired. John Budegrass, more baseball. What's going on?
L.A. Philly. It's Eric Karras, 21st homer of the year. He's been playing hurt all year. Carlos Perez pitching a 2-hit shutout in the top of the 8th. Back to you, Gary.
John Budegrass keeping us updated on the game still going on and on those we've seen the finals of already, of course, with Chicago and San Francisco winning. So the Mets have got to win this ball game to stay 1 behind Chicago in the wild card race. And the Atlanta Braves losing to Houston. So San Diego with a win could tie Atlanta for most wins in the National League. But they are trailing here 4-1.
And watch out for those strolls.
It's a good ball club. Great balance. Tough players.
And they score runs.
Yep. San Diego Padres have gone to the pen once already in this game. Bullringer's been worked a couple of innings. So Sanders will be ready to go if needed here. Scott Sanders. 2 strike count. 1 down. Arias takes the slider outside. 1-2. Don't forget, Atlanta, of course, is most talked about because they jumped out early, and they are still on top with the 91 wins. But San Diego's got 90, and Houston has 88. So any of those 3 teams could still finish first in the National League.
Well, not only do they have 88 wins, they also have the big unit. Although he left the ball game in the 9th inning tonight, he was pitching very well. It seemed like he was had an injury. I hope it's not, obviously, I hope it's not too serious.
Over Maddox tonight for Atlanta. 2 ball, 2 strike count. It's Bochy, skipper of the Padres. Swung on and missed. Reynoso gets Arias on a ball down and away. 3 strikeouts for Armando Reynoso.
Well, it gives you a lot of arm motion, a lot of elbows, knees, and everything, and jumps at you a little bit. Then he takes something off the ball.
7 in a row retired for Reynoso. A quiet offense for the Padres. 2 down, nobody on. Carlos Hernandez. He has singled and flied out. 2 down, bases empty, bottom of the 7th inning. And that's outside, ball 1. Mike Piazza behind the plate for the Mets will certainly welcome the day off the Mets have tomorrow before they open up against Atlanta. He's had very little time off since joining the Mets. Didn't expect to get it there in a drive. His bat's got to be in the lineup. But this trip, he has taken more foul balls. He's been hit on the mask and the head twice on backswings, and once in the glove. That really chalked that catching hand. But he has continued to stay in games. Out of only one of those in L.A. That's been it for him on this road trip. It's a black and blue month here. This is when you, as they say in baseball, you sleep in November. Here's the 2-1 delivery, and that's going to be a base hit. Tony Phillips will play it in, and Carlos Hernandez delivers a 2-out single here in the 7th inning. 4th hit for the Padres.
Number 10, the shortstop, Chris Gomez.
Bobby Valentine has not had to get his pen up at all. Reynoso still plenty to work with here in this game with a 4-1 lead in the 7th inning and 2 down. Next one will be his 100th pitch. Gomez delivered one of the hits. 12-game hit streak now. Chris Gomez, and that slider is outside for a ball. Runner at first base, but 2 down. Pitcher would be due up next, so Ken Caminiti has picked up a bat if Gomez can keep the inning alive. Not holding the runner at first. 1-0 delivery. Grounded foul outside of third base. It's another of the moves Bobby Valentine has made this year. It's Caminiti getting ready. John Olerud this year at times will hold a runner normally as you would on the bag. At other times he does what he's doing now. He plays off the bag in front of the runner and will move back and forth towards the bag. And the pitcher will have to throw to him while he's moving back to cover. He is holding the runner there, believe it or not. He's just doing it off the bag. 1-1. Swung on and missed. Took something off that slider away. 1-2.
Well, when you play in the position that Olerud's playing, Gary, it keeps you from having to jump out there and leaving the bag. It gets you to the position you want to get to before the pitch is thrown, and it gives you more range. And by holding, being in front of the bag, he can always go back, as you said, and keep the runner tight. The positioning here is for defense just to be able to feel and close that hole.
1-2 delivery. Strike 3 in the inside corner. Gomez can't believe the call. It'll be the 4th strikeout. Reynoso set him up with that slider away. Fastball inside. Mike Piazza, 28th home run delivered in the 4th inning. He'll be coming up.
Reese's Nutrageous. So loaded, you don't eat it, you survive it.
Bear Premium Plus, the premium paint with a Home Depot price.
Meet Frank. Meet Bill. Both men are finishing up cellular calls. Frank uses Nextel, so after the first minute, his charges end the second he hangs up. Bill doesn't use Nextel, so his charges keep going, all the way up to the next minute. Sorry about that, Bill. Get the cellular service that charges by the second. Nextel. You've never used a phone like this before.
Isn't this heaven?
2 whole weeks, yeah.
No kids, no phone.
No faxes.
No trading. And no Kramer. Honey?
For James Kramer and the provocative market insight serious investors can't do without, hit thestreet.com. It's pure, uncut, and free for 2 weeks.
Who is this Kramer?
Call 1-800-996-4TSC.
Welcome back to San Diego, everybody. Gary Thorne, Joe Morgan, the Mets trying to win their first West Coast road trip since 1994. They would be 5-4 on the trip with a victory here, and this their final game of the trip. Padres trying to overtake or at least tie Atlanta for the best record in the National League. Need a win to do that, but the Mets have the 4-1 lead, 8th inning. John Olerud up there. John's had an 0 for 3, including a couple of strikeouts, hitting .340 now. And a strike on the outside corner, so he's lost 2 points off the average so far tonight. He started 2 points behind Larry Walker and 1 ahead of Dante Bichette. And a check swing. Brian Bollringer gets the strike there. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Well, he hit 363 in 1993 to lead the American League. And he's tied now at 340 for the best average ever by a Met. Leon Jones hit 340.
And that one to left field's going to fall in for a base hit. So John Olerud on with a single here to lead off the 8th inning.
Let's take a look at him. This is 1993 on the left. You see his hands start in front, but he moves them back. They already start back now, which saves you some movement. See how they move back in 93, but they're already back in 98. And I've always believed the least amount of movement that you can have, the better off you are. But a lot of guys have to have more movement to generate bat speed. But other than that, he looked pretty similar. I mean, he's sitting back on his backside here in 98 to try to stay back, but that'll cause him to hit more balls to left field because the swing's a little longer.
And that he does a lot of, as you saw in that last at bat. Mike Piazza. Olerud has said that is the biggest change since coming over from Toronto. Cito Gaston in Toronto, they wanted him to pull the ball.
Hit for power.
Hit for power. And that really didn't work for him and hurt his average. So when he came back to the Mets, they started working on him going the other way, taking the ball where it was, and that's what he's done successfully. Piazza's 28th home run came in the 4th inning, 1 for 2 and a walk in the ballgame. Piazza now batting at .320 on the year. He moved into the top 10 this week of hitters. Grounds that one towards third. Short hop. Darius one. Relay to first off the mark. Vanderwall over to get it, though. So they get the force out at second base. 1 away. And let's check in with John, see what's going on. John?
To the Bronx. Can Tino tie it? Oh! No, just a bit short. This game was delayed 2 hours, 14 minutes because of rain. The Yanks still have 2 more chances to reach 100 wins in fewer games than any other AL team ever.
Hey, man, the A's did have enough.
See?
Yeah.
You
Yankees are in a slump.
Lost a game. Brian McRae. McRae has gone 0 for 2, did reach on an error, has also drawn a walk, runner at first. Hernandez up to get that one. Bollringer in his 3rd inning of relief work. He's given up only a couple of hits, no runs off him. Andy Ashby, the starter, 4 runs, 4 hits over 5, including 3 home runs. Sanders has been ready in the bullpen throughout this inning. In fact, he's just staying loose down there now. Brian McRae hitting a .274, puts that one to left center field. Finley, center fielder. 2 down.
Gary, I want to mention something. We've seen Kelvio Veras not complete 2 double plays, not be able to complete 2 double plays. You can't do that. I mean, that was a very, very fine play by Arias there to short hop the ball and give it to him. You've got to move away from the bag, you know, to take the pressure off you from the runner. And in both cases, he stayed right there, and the runner's gotten on him, and he hasn't been able to complete the double play. He's made poor throws. I think you have to be able to complete those types of double plays, especially when you get to the playoffs and you start giving good teams an extra out, and you're going to have problems.
1-0 count here, 2 down. And that one chopped to second base. Forced play at second would end the inning. They get it. Kelvio Veras to Gomez. No runs, a base hit. Base runner left on. Bottom half of the 8th inning coming up. Mets lead at 4-1.
It's time for instant attendance.
The other day, Karen had to hurry to a surprise birthday party.
Honey, the doctor's on her way. Almost there.
So Karen didn't need any surprises from her car.
Just breathe. We need you to breathe easy.
Ford Taurus has billions of real-life miles behind it. A reliable door-tech engine in it.
The doctor's here. The doctor's here. I hear someone's in a hurry.
And I know 2 people. Make that 3 people. And we're sure glad that she bought this car. Ford Taurus. It's built to last.
Action of GoldenEye, Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside, the WCW versus NWO, or Diddy Kong Racing for new additions to the Player's Choice Library for just $39.95. Don't miss it.
How does Terrell Davis get his foot action? He trains in the Nike Air Aftermath Cross Trainer. He lifts weights. He does cardio work. And then, he really starts working. You want Terrell's foot action? Get yourself the Air Aftermath and a steel-belted radio. For every action, there's foot action.
Back with the Mets on top by a score of 4-1. Joe was talking about Quilvio Veras at second base, trying to turn the double plays. Chance to take a look at what you were talking about here.
Now watch, he stays right at the bag, right there. Now the runner knows where to find you. If he would have come across the bag one more step, then he clears himself from the runner, and you don't have to throw in the pressure. You have to complete that double play because Arias gave you the chance to complete it by charging the ball, taking the tough hop, and giving you a good throw. If he backs up on it, you can't make it. So Arias made the play, and he did not complete it. You can't stand at the bag because they know where to find you. You've got to come to the ball, get out of the runner's way, and then you have time to make the throw.
Also gives you a chance to even to cheat a little bit, coming across the bag.
And the sooner you get the ball, the better off you are. So you see it's a good throw, you go to the ball.
Mark Sweeney is the pinch hitter for Bollringer, who worked 3 innings. Gave up a couple of hits and walked 2 and struck out 1. Good job by Bollringer in relief of Ashby. Sweeney, with a 1-strike count, takes the long walk. Not happy with the call either. 11 for 54 as a pinch hitter for Mark Sweeney, including 1 pinch hit home run and 6 pinch hit RBIs. He can play first base and right field as well. That one just missed outside to him.
It's a lot of pinch hit appearance, though, isn't it? 54, yeah.
Here we go, 8.
Especially for a ball club where the
winning
starters stay in, and the winning record where the starters are in a long way. And Sweeney takes that one from Armando Reynoso. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Reynoso has gone the distance for the Mets. A run on 4 hits off him, walking 3, striking out 4. Have retired 7 in a row. For Hernandez got a base hit in the last inning. Reynoso fielding his position. Sweeney retired, 1 away in the 8th.
And it's so important for a guy that doesn't strike out a lot of hitters and doesn't have, overpowering stuff to be able to field his position. And he showed us that he can do that tonight.
Only 2 leadoff batters have been on for the Padres tonight. Leadoff man retired here in the 8th inning. Quilvio Veras coming up. Veras has taken an 0 for 3 and an 0 for 5 in these 2 games against the Mets. His average now at 271 on the season. Veras has been a hot hitter for this team, batting over 300 for the last 25 games with a couple of home runs even. Reynoso inside, ball 1. Mets looking for their 35th win on the road. They are 34 and 33 away from New York. Trying to keep that 500 mark or better on the road and then pick up games at home with their 42 and 30. 1 ball, 1-strike count. Andy Ashby, the pitcher of record for the Padres, came into this game 10 and 1 at home, 1 loss here in San Diego. This could be his 2nd of the year. 2 ball, 1-strike count on Quilvio Veras. Wait and watch. Brian Bollringer. Good job out of the bullpen. 2-1 delivery and a strike. Reynoso has not thrown many fat pitches in this game. You're right. Boy, his strikes have been right there, tailing on the black. Valentine, just in case, will get his closer up, John Franco. 2-2 delivery. Swung on and missed, pulled the string. Reynoso continues to baffle the Padre hitters. 5 strikeouts.
Well, he has such good arm motion with that off-speed stuff. I mean, this looks just like the fastball that he threw a couple of pitches before. Good arm speed, good arm motion. That's the key to a changeup. Arm speed.
So there are 2 down here in the 8th inning, and Finley coming up. 0 for 2 and a walk for Steve Finley. He takes the pitch outside. Reynoso just kind of cruising along. It remains a 4-1 ball game and a save situation. You can be pretty sure Franco will come in to finish it. Bobby Valentine believes in adhering to the new rules about specificity in baseball.
Yeah.
Man is hired to save games, and it's a save situation. You bring him in.
Okay.
1-1 delivery. And that just missed outside.
I think I used that word in my book.
Specificity.
Yeah.
You did. I saw that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't have my own copy yet,
Yeah, but
I saw it at the bookstore.
Yeah, I think I used it in there about guys like Franco.
That's right.
Yeah, they specialize in getting saves.
Thank you. A 2-1 count. Why do I work with guys who write books?
Well, I mean,
Tim McCarver's got his book out. You got your book out. Yogi Berra comes and joins us in New York. He's got a book out.
Yeah, but Yogi's is, what's his? I didn't say what they said I said, or something like that.
It's one of those things, yeah. I really didn't say all those things they say I said. Foul back by Finley.
You know what? And I agree with him, because I don't think he could have said all the things they said he said. I mean, no way. Everything we hear is a Yogiism. But the famous one is never over till it's over. Now, I do believe he said that.
He said that.
Yeah.
Carver's book is Baseball for Brain Surgeons and Other Fans, and yours is Baseball for Dummies. Is that it?
Ooh.
Strike on the inside corner. Oh, my. A 1-2-3 inning for Armando Reynoso. We go to the 9th inning. Mets up.
Hey, don't work too late, kid. Thanks.
Slow-crafted Sam Adams. All in due time.
By the end of the week, 7 more lives will be saved. By the end of the day, 16 people who couldn't walk will. By the end of the hour, these special filters will help make 25,000 more gallons of water ready for drinking. And by the end of this message, 1 more premature baby will be protected. All of which is made possible with the help of a material we call plastic.
Why haven't I seen this before? Did you write this?
Yes, I did.
Where did you get these smashing ideas?
Here and there.
Super. People, meet our new vice president and your new boss. Tracy.
Oh, wow. This Pete is good.
When something tastes as good as Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas, filled with all those wonderful things start to happen. Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas feel good.
Armando Reynoso, a chance to win his 6th game against 1 loss. He's got the lead as we go to the 9th. Pitching summary brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Wallpaper Stores. There are the lines on the 2 starters, and they are the pitchers of record.
Well, I guess, you know, Bobby's going to adhere to, what is it, specificity?
Rules of specificity.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know that.
They're going to adhere to that and bring in John Franco in the 9th.
So, the Padres will get another shot. Carlos Baerga against Scott Sanders, who comes out of the bullpen to work here. And Sanders gets the pitch in for a strike. 3rd pitcher used by the Padres in tonight's ball game. Sanders' job is just to hold it where it's at. Baerga hitting a .273, loops that one towards second base. Gilby Alvarez is there, and Baerga's retired, and Baerga's got an 0 for 4 in this ball game. John Franco for the New York Mets will be coming on looking for the save. He is the closer, of course, and Reynoso will have a chance to win his 6th game and 7 starts. He's had a decision in all of them, 5-1. coming into this ball game tonight and has pitched very well in 6 of the 7 starts. Ray Ordonez up. Ordonez takes the fastball up high. He has picked up a single, 1 for 2 and a walk in the ball game.
You know, you said that Carlos Baerga has an 0 for 4.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't miss about the game.
The 0 for
that 0 for 4. No, not just the 0 for the 0 for 4. Man, that's like you didn't do anything tonight. If you get 0 for 2 or 3, at least you got to walk or help something. But 0 for 4, you didn't do anything. You just showed up.
You didn't take many.
Oh, yeah, I had more than my share. I had too many. That's really why I quit.
That's really why you got done those 0 for 4.
Yeah, 0 for 4s drove me right out of the game.
Carlos looked like he was going to quit there. Ground ball to short. Gomez up with that one. And that will retire Ray Ordonez. And there are 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning. Sunday night, National Football League action. Joe Morgan's Oakland Raiders take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Game will be coming your way at 8:15 Sunday night on ESPN. And then Monday Night Football. It'll be New England taking on Denver. Drew Bledsoe, John Elway. That will be on ABC on Monday night. There you go. Some National Football League action Sunday on ESPN and Monday on ABC. Matt Franco will be the pinch hitter for Armando Reynoso. Franco got thrown out of the ball game after he came on as a pinch hitter last night, stayed in, argued a 3rd strike call. Sanders' pitch to him is down low. 2 down, nobody on here in the 9th. Looking ahead, Gwynn, Vaughn, and Vanderwall due up in the bottom half of the 9th inning for the San Diego Padres. Franco takes it down low and a 2-0 count.
You know, one of the things when you miss 18 games like Tony, endurance, you know, comes into play. You haven't played 9 innings in a long time, and he's been out there all 9 innings. He will by the time the game's over. And you got to work your way back into shape. You actually have to play your way back. It doesn't come easy. Because he had an Achilles problem. He couldn't go out and run and stay in shape. So he's got to be feeling a little bit about now, I believe.
That's why Bruce Bochy has said he doesn't think he'll play every game and wants to get him out of there when the team's ahead by 4 or 5 runs early. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Matt Franco.
You know, Bruce Bochy was one of my teammates also.
Where?
Yeah, Houston.
In Houston?
Yeah, we were played the Phillies in that one of the fine playoffs ever.
That was.
Yeah.
That one skips all the way to the backstop. 3-2 on Franco.
He got run over by Pete Rose, like Ray Fosse, but I only wanted Bochy to get the ball a split second sooner. That's all I wanted. And then I don't think Rose would have run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bochy was pretty solid, but he was reaching for the ball and
hung him out to dry.
Hung him out a little bit.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
He was too.
Yeah.
3-2, driven to center field, but right at Finley. He's got it. Franco's retired. So 1, 2, 3 innings. Sanders gets it done. Can the Padres mount a rally in the bottom of the 9th inning with the big threesome due up? We'll see when we come back.
Chef Paul of Bowman's makes the best steaks in town, the Herald. Chef Paul is the maestro of marinade, the Herald. Chef Paul's reputation is built on his marinade alone, the Herald.
Chef Paul's secret ingredient is actually A1.
Chef Paul questioned about missing assistant, the Herald. The secret to great steak isn't just for great steakhouses anymore. A1, a marinade, a seasoning, a 136-year-old secret.
My brother is stubborn.
I'm not.
Won't try anything.
Not true.
Broccoli.
Too green.
Karaoke.
Too hokey.
Then I said try 10-10-3-2-1.
Too new.
Saves cash on every call in the U.S.
Every call?
Quick or long.
How much?
50% off calls over 20 minutes.
Half price?
Great international rates, too.
I can call Paris?
Oui, monsieur.
Right now?
Don't have to switch phone companies.
Right here?
Just dial 10-10-3-2-1, then the number as usual.
This is easy. Why didn't I try this sooner? Don't push your luck.
Stubborn.
Do you ever just have one of those days? Well, at Farmers Insurance, everything we do is about getting things back to normal. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Farmers. Get you back where you belong.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks, John. Particularly welcome to those of you watching the Dodger game as the Los Angeles Dodgers picked up a win. We are going to the bottom of the ninth inning here in San Diego, and John Franco, 5th in the league in saves with 30, coming on to try and put away a ball game where the Mets are leading 4-1 in the bottom of the ninth inning.
But for one of the few times in his career, more hits than innings pitched, and he's 0-7 record. That tells you that he's blown a couple of saves and lost the ball game. But John Franco is one of the best closers in baseball.
6 blown saves on the season. Franco last worked on the 31st against the Dodgers, where he worked just an inning in a non-save situation. Valentine brings him on here with a chance to pick up his 31st. Tony Gwynn will lead it off. Gwynn has picked up a home run, his 12th of the year in the first inning, 1 for 3. 328 on the year now. The Cubs and Giants both won their games today, so the Mets need a victory here to stay 1 behind Chicago in the wild card race. Atlanta lost to Houston. The Padres, with a victory here, would tie Atlanta for the best record in the National League. That's what's up for grabs here as we start the bottom of the ninth. John Franco, and Gwynn takes the fastball for a strike. Quickly, it's no balls, 2 strikes.
And that's unusual for Franco to throw 2 straight strikes like that. He usually throws a strike and then tries to get you to go out of the strike zone. But he's gotten ahead of Tony Gwynn here. 0-2.
And Gwynn takes a look at that one that just missed outside. 2 real veterans going against one another here. Bobby Valentine, 29 years ago today, Bobby Valentine made his major league debut in Los Angeles as a pinch runner for Jim Lefebvre. 29 years ago today. 1-2. That one towards the hole, and a base hit for Tony Gwynn. Somehow, some way.
Well, you do not have an average, lifetime average of 340, whatever, without being a great hitter. Not a good hitter. That's a great hitter. You see Franco, he's just kind of smiling. He said, "There's, hey, I gave my best stuff," and he still hit it the other way. Now watch how he goes to the ball with his upper body. That's the key. See how his body just goes out there, upper body. He pulls off with his lower body, but see where his upper body is. That's why he's able to hit as well as he does. Most people, when their lower body goes, their upper body opens up and pulls away. Tony goes to the pitch with his upper body.
He's a .347 hitter against Franco in his career.
Man.
Just to keep it interesting. That is hit number 5 for the Padres. Now Vaughn up, 0 for 2 and a walk. Had 2 home runs last night. 4-1 Met lead, and he was going for another long ball right there.
Tony had talked about the fact that it doesn't bother him to hit his Achilles, his left Achilles is injured. Doesn't bother him to hit, but it bothers him to run and to push off. So a little surprising that Bruce is leaving him in at this stage of the ball game, because his run is not the tying run or anything important. You got to tie it before you worry about winning it. But maybe he doesn't, he doesn't want to use up another body.
Got a lot of bodies around now with the expanded rosters. But Bruce Bochy leaves Tony Gwynn on at first base. Vaughn up with a 1-1 count. Vaughn 1 for 3 lifetime against Franco, and that was a home run as Jimmy Leyritz has come out on deck to hit for Vanderwall. Nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Franco way inside with that 1-2-1. Franco is after his 390th career save, which would tie him with Dennis Eckersley for second all-time. Number 390 is what he's after in this game. New contract, of course, with the Mets, taken care of a couple of months ago. He's going to stay in New York where he wants to be, and this is what he gets paid for. Win off first. The 2-1. Down to third. Edgardo Alfonso hugging the line. There's one. Dropped. They got the out. Baerga dropped the ball trying to make the throw, so Tony Gwynn retired on the force out.
I'm not so sure about that one, but, you know, hey, I guess the ball did change directions. But at least Baerga came across the bag to get away from the runner. Now watch, see, he comes across the bag, he gets away. Yeah, he controlled it, I guess.
That's why you don't want Tony Gwynn on the base paths, though, in that situation.
See, the rule says you're supposed to be taking the ball out of your glove. I'm not so sure that he did that. You control it, and then you have to take it out of your glove.
Jimmy Leyritz, pinch hitter for Vanderwall against Franco. One down. And a fastball right there to Leyritz.
Let's see if he's actually taking this ball out of his glove. Yeah, he's trying to transfer it. So, accurate call.
They usually are, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Jeff Kellogg, second base umpire. One strike delivery. Leyritz takes it up high. Two former New Yorkers. One, Leyritz with the Yankees. Franco, then and now with the Mets.
Franco is a New York kind of guy, though.
Absolutely. John Franco lives in Staten Island. The borough people usually forget, trying to name the five. And Leyritz takes that one on the inside corner right at the knees. Didn't like the call. 1 ball, 2 strike count on him.
Leyritz and Tom Brenneman, the son of Marty Brenneman and the announcer for the Arizona Diamondbacks, were best friends growing up.
John Franco waiting. Leyritz getting back in. Runner at first base now is Vaughn. The Padres have got to get another one on in order to bring that potential tying run up to the plate. 1-2 count. Big cut got him. Franco gets the strikeout. And there are 2 down.
Hey, I don't think I've ever seen Franco throw as many strikes with 2 strikes on a hitter as he's doing tonight. He usually gets you to chase something out of the strike zone, but that's another strike. And he threw one to Gwynn, but I mean, he is going right after the hitters. He usually gets ahead and then tries to get you to chase a sinker out of the strike zone.
Maybe that's why he's not doing it in this game, Joe, that's what he thinks hitters are looking for, and change it up a little bit.
Well, they definitely should be looking for it.
Arias up. George Arias had an 0 for 3. The thing that also may affect it, Joe, is that he's facing veteran hitters here in Gwynn and Vaughn and Leyritz. They know what he throws.
Well, he just came back to Arias and gave me the pitch I was talking about, so maybe you're right.
Against younger hitters who haven't faced him, he just kills young hitters with that pitch, which is really out of the strike zone. It tails down and away right there. And hitters chase it. The younger hitters. The veteran hitters who know what he's going to throw will lay off that. But he won't throw it as often to Tony Gwynn. 1 ball, 1 strike count, 2 down. Mets on the verge of a successful road trip, 5-4. Padres have won 8 of their last 10, may lose a chance to tie Atlanta for the best in the National. Outside again, 2 ball, 1 strike count. Not done yet. That's with 3 home runs. Harris, Alfonso, and Piazza all coming off Andy Ashby, the starter. Tony Gwynn, a home run. And the only run on the board for the Padres back in the first inning against Armando Reynoso, who would go 6-1 with a victory here. Ashby would be 16-7 and would not have reached 17 for the 4th time. Inside corner strike, 2-2.
Well, he got Leyritz with this pitch. Now he gets Arias. They both think it's inside. You see Piazza kind of pull that ball back.
You see how John Franco's made a living, Joe, don't you? That's that tailing away pitch and then set up the inside fastball, then tail it away again, in, out, in, out.
We haven't seen him even throw sliders. You know, he's got a good slider, too. Basically, he's gone with the sinker.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Not far off the mark. 3-2.
Well, it's kind of hard to take this pitch after he called a strike on the inside corner. And, well, maybe he thinks it's low. I think I'd have had to hack at that one.
It's about where he wanted it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to hack at that one.
Arias trying to keep it alive. 3-2 away. Vaughn will be going. That one drilled foul. Thing to remember with great pitchers like Franco, and especially when you're seeing the Atlanta staff with Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz, the ball can cross the plate at the front part of the plate, and when the catcher catches it, not be on the plate.
Exactly.
That is a strike.
Yeah, it's where it crosses the plate, you know, the front of the plate, and it gets a little distorted sometimes on television because the catcher is actually, you know, about 3 feet behind when he makes the catch.
3-2 count again. Arias waiting. Swung on, grounded towards short. Cut off Alfonso at third, and this ball game is over. The New York Mets have beaten the San Diego Padres 4-1.